launched rockets into Israel. One of them left people injured.
Later, the militant group's leader Hassan Nasrallah will give his first public reaction to the week's extraordinary events. Hezbollah pagers and walkie-talkies exploding, causing deaths and thousands of injuries, sparking fear, anger and threats of recrimination. Fox understands Israel carried out the attack, although the Israelis aren't confirming that.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. Sean Diddy Combs remains in jail in New York City after a second federal judge refused to grant the rapper and music producer bail. Combs is facing charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Friday Eve. Tug, Rhino, and Los.
It's your fault, by the way.
Extra. What do you mean? What's my fault?
Or maybe even Rhino's fault. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Well, you explain.
Probably mine.
Give us. What are you talking about?
So yesterday, I'm in Carline, just trying to do my thing, and I'm trying to listen to Kimmer.
Yeah.
And you guys were joking all about how Kimmer's going to die, and Kimmer's this and this, and
then he just not here, and then
Kimmer. And then Kimmer fell out yesterday.
He sure did. I started feeling bad. I was like, wow.
I felt bad too.
Okay, well, I never said a bad word.
What?
I never said a bad word.
You forced us to do that.
I did
Yes,
not.
you told me. You said Kimmer's
not.
getting dental work.
Yeah. You're
and
like,
that he
hey,
may not make it.
He might not make it. Let's joke about that.
I never said that. I never said he may not make it. I may have laughed at when y'all said it.
As you make the sign of the cross right now. You saw that YouTube.
That's right. I'm not Catholic. I don't even do that.
Yeah, what a day yesterday, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I turned in and I was like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I thought the same thing.
Uh-oh.
I sent you guys a text message. I go, well, we've lost Kimmer.
This is the Pete show.
So I hope he's feeling better.
Yes, me too. I saw the video that he posted with the ladies at the dentist's office.
I seemed like kind of, hey, friendly.
Absolutely,
I'm fine.
man.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, and do we know what actually happened?
He had a quadruple root canal. They gave him like rhino tusks.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He wanted to take Rhino's bit. He was like, no.
Yeah.
I want to be the Rhino.
I'm the Rhino now.
Get it right on the front. So, but did he really had the root canal thing, or are you making that up?
No, I'm making it. I mean, clearly he had something done where Pete, as he brought it up, I've never seen this man in this much pain doing a radio show.
Oh, my God. Yeah, well, see, I didn't.
So I'm just saying that when we start on a Thursday and we start talking about what could possibly happen through the remainder of the day, we started yesterday by bringing this up, and then it came to fruition.
And then we did it. It's our fault. We must do better, y'all.
Well, I told everybody else to pray, and they didn't, obviously. So I blame everybody that's listening that didn't pray.
I'll admit, I didn't about that. I pray. I mean, I pray every day.
Yes.
I have my prayer time.
You didn't have your Kimmer tooth prayer?
I didn't, Lois. I didn't. And look, the very first, I'll show everybody, y'all and anybody else is paying attention. The first app on my phone is the Bible app. The very first one.
Yeah, the Holy Bible.
I use it every day. And
you didn't have a Kimmer tooth prayer in there, though.
I don't have one.
Well,
and I make notes in there when I've got hundreds and hundreds of notes.
But not one about Kimmer.
But not
you don't
one.
care. You don't love him the way we love him.
Yeah, the way your mom might in the future.
Well, yes, it depends on if they get.
I mean, that's your whole future. Almost went downhill yesterday during a teeth cleaning.
You almost lost the car.
That'd be terrible. And Mama, that's sweet, sweet loving.
Yes.
That sweet, sweet loving. Welcome to Thursday, everybody.
It started.
You would think it was a Friday.
Yes, no doubt. Absolutely. I stayed up late. I'm sure a lot of people did when I found out that Trump was going to be on Gutfeld. And I never stay up for Gutfeld. I can't. It's just too late. It's so late. Yet, I always watch the clips of the show, so I know it's a really funny show. Last night, I decided I was going to stay up and actually watch the whole thing, and it was pretty good. Trump was in a he was just himself, and I think that's the winning recipe for him.
He's so cool. Like, there are a lot
I've
of
never
things
thought that before. Believe me, I've never been a Trump fan ever.
There are a lot of things that annoy me about him, but when he sits down and is personable the way he is, when he's not being attacked every 5 seconds, and he's just having a conversation, it's very conversational, and it makes you feel like, hey, he's one of us, and he's not, but it makes you feel that way. He's very relatable, and there were some parts of it that I actually was like, I mean, Kat Timpf asked the most important question, and I think she got the answer that we all know, that aliens do exist. So I thought that was very important.
Exactly. You know what? I sent that over to Joe just a moment ago. Joe will give me the thumbs up when it's ready. But I did the same thing. So I didn't get home last night till 9 o'clock till, after, by the way, shout out to the North Forsyth Feeder A team. 22-1, ended up winning regionals. They won everything. It was really cool. They're the
call out girls,
the regional champions. But we didn't walk in the door till 9 o'clock, and I saw the note about, hey, he's going to be on Gutfeld. And I watch that show maybe once every 6 months.
Yeah, same here.
But I kind of, because of the forum, because of the nature of like having like 4 or 5 people and it's very open, I was curious how it was going to go. And I think this is always the challenge of what happens when you talk about the difference between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. It's that you can put him on a comedy show that's politically oriented with 5 people, and he's not going to have a problem. Take a listen. This is Kat Timpf. She's asking him about the most pertinent question.
Yeah, this
is what he fires off.
Are there aliens in Area 51?
You know, I'll tell you, it's a funny thing, because I think that might be a question that I get more than any question. It is the craziest thing. So we have that so-called area. They consider it like a sacred area. Mm-hmm. And I will say this. I don't think I'm a believer, but I've interviewed pilots that look, I like Tom Cruise, but better than Tom Cruise. The blonde crew cuts, the whole, and this, yes, sir. And they were in the Oval Office, 3 or 4 pilots. These are not people that make up stories. These are, they said, all I know, sir, is there was a round object that was going 4 times faster than my F-22, which is a very fast plane. And it wasn't, it shouldn't have been. It was round, sir. They have seen, 4 or 5 guys I've interviewed, solid people, great pilots for the U.S. Air Force, etc. They've seen things that they cannot explain.
Follow-up question.
Also a maybe.
Follow-up question, Mr. Davis.
Maybe.
Follow-up. If in fact there are aliens, would you be willing to put tariffs on them to help us?
Maybe, Tug, you'll come around to going, hey, that is the former commander-in-chief who's talking about pilots saying, there's stuff out here.
Huge eye roll here. Only in the fact that I never said there wasn't anything. I just don't believe in the little green man. I can't. I don't.
No, they're not green.
Yeah, the little.
No, they have humanoid figures.
Yeah, that's fine.
they're 7-foot ones.
Yeah, okay, well, that's even better. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't believe in any of that kind of stuff.
Foods, probably.
That's why they're growing healthy. That's right, all healthy and things. But that's like, is there something? Yes, the pilots have all said that. I mean, we all know that there's something. I just don't know what it is.
Don't be a science denier, because you've denied this so many times.
True.
And now we continually give you the proof that you need.
All the evidence.
And evidence. And even your own Navy pilots are telling the president what's going on, and you're turning on them too.
At least it was brought up. That was the key. But it does point to the difference in what happens when he is on a stage talking about things extemporaneously on the fly versus what happens when Kamala Harris, which, as they did highlight, she just says the same things over and over and over. It's robotic and contrived.
The funniest thing I heard was when he said Tim Walz, who he did not know at the time, during the Minnesota riots and there in Minneapolis. He said, Tim Walz calls me. And what got him to that part of the conversation is they were talking about Tim Walz's brother actually voting for Donald Trump. And Tyrus has a good zinger that you'll hear in the beginning, and then he'll get to the reason that Tim Walz called him, and that will make you roll your eyes and chuckle out loud. But so setting it back up, he's talking about Tim Walz's brother voting for him, and Tyrus says this.
Barack Hussein Obama's brother is supporting Trump. This Governor Walz, his brother and his whole family is supporting him. In fact, they want to make contributions to my campaign.
Well, to be fair, a lot of brothers are supporting President Trump.
That's just the greatest. Such a good singer. And then he goes on to talk about Tim Walz here.
That's what we do over here.
It is funny. Waltz is a strange dude.
Oh, he's strange.
He is strange.
Crazy.
Him and I are the same age. How does he look so much younger?
No, he's a strange guy.
Here comes the story.
Strange.
You know, he called up years ago. I was in the White House, and he said, my house is being surrounded by people with American flags. I said, is that a good thing or a bad thing? He said, I think they're going to attack me. This was during the riots and everything else. They were MAGA people. You know, they like the American flag, all right? And they also had Trump. And I said, how do you know? There were about 15,000, he said, could you put out a word like that I'm your friend? I don't even know him, but that's the only time I ever spoke to him. And if you look back long ago, tweets, before truth, tweets, long ago, I put out a statement. He's a good man, the governor. He's on our side. I didn't know him, but I didn't want him to get hurt. And everybody put down their flags and they left. He said it was a miracle.
They put down their flags and left.
Oh my God! And there's not a part of me that doubts that story.
Me either.
There's not. Oh gosh.
There's just such good stuff there. He said,
But you know what? You know what it also speaks to? It really does speak to when you have these different politicians that reach out to him, and he's like, "I ain't really part of the political class. So okay, I'll help you out."
yeah.
And then you fast forward several years later, and you go, "Yeah, that wasn't really a good dude."
Yeah.
It's this is a recurring trend that's happened during his political career.
And then the statement, they're out here with American flags. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
They're out here with American flags. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's so good, dude. It's such a great line because, of course, it's a good thing. Tim Walz doesn't believe it's a good thing.
Well, of course he doesn't. In fact, if he had his opportunity, I'm surprised he didn't call his police, Gestapo, to take him out with paintball guns. But the reality of it is that Tim Walz is weak, and that just kind of shows that he has no leadership skills. What are you afraid of? The American flag? I mean, I think that's really relevant in a thought pattern of people who hate this country, that they look at the American flag and see it as a threat, as the people who are carrying it see it as freedom. See it as love, see it as the greatest country in the world, and he's afraid of the American flag. That says a lot about somebody who's running for vice president.
Especially with a military background.
Well, when you're really into China, these sort of things kind of happen, right?
They do.
You're not afraid of that flag?
Yeah.
You would have felt at home with a bunch of Chinese flags, or maybe some hammer and sickles?
That's exactly right, man. But it just shows you where the Democrat Party, the left is, and they're not afraid to show it. They're not. Maybe they are. They usually can't say it out loud. Kamala wouldn't say these things out loud. This was a long time ago. It was the only reason Walz said it out loud. Now they would never, because even the Washington Post would be like, "Hey, pipe down. If they're calling you communist, don't introduce communist policy."
I'm kind of curious how many people from the opposite side of the aisle stayed up to watch that and then thought to themselves, how do we play with that when Kamala Harris can't get in front of anybody and not say the same sort of things? Because they did air some of that stuff leading up of when you ask her a question, she says the same canned, rehearsed thing over and over and over. Whereas when you throw out the most random thing like aliens,
that's right,
he's ready to roll.
Or if you just talk about his opponent, he's got a story. He's got some way to interact. And that showed up again.
Showman.
It is. And it showed up again yesterday near where you're from in Uniondale. Is it Uniondale?
Yeah,
right?
Uniondale is correct.
It's about an hour.
Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah, they're on
outside
Long
of
Island,
New York.
right?
Yeah. I mean, with traffic, probably an hour and a half. But it's really not even that far from the city. It's kind of the middle.
Flies.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places growing up. We used to go out there. I'm not an Islander fan, but I go watch Ranger Islander games, and we played kick hockey and had a good time. And it's a beautiful area. It's on an old air base, so it's not a base, it's airfield would be the correct way. So it's surrounded by a lot of empty buildings and stuff like that, but a beautiful area out there.
But
I was surprised yesterday, by the way.
Amount of people
my
that
goodness.
showed. How many is that? Do you know how many that venue holds? I don't.
The estimated amount going in was going to be about 60,000.
60,000.
And they had to make it a point, similar to what we did in the Battery during the World Series. They had to erect digital screens outside, knowing that there were people that were not going to be able to make it in, but they still wanted to be able to watch what the speech was.
It's unreal, man.
They have to hold. I mean, in the old days, it only held about 14,000. When they redid the building, I think it now holds about 20,000, but no more than 18 to 20,000.
So with the people outside, maybe is where that number.
Plus, the way when they set up stages, you pull out half, or not half, but you pull out like a third of the people that would be behind the screens. I don't know if they did that for this event, because a lot of times during the Trump rallies, they'll leave the top deck open just because you can see over the stage. So I'd assume that there couldn't have been more than 17,000 to 18,000 seats, though.
Still, but for that number to gather outside and then to have 20 grand inside for a Republican in New York,
in that area. And I think it's really smart when Rhino points it out. It's not that you think you're going to win New York. It's more of, let's make inroads in the way that the Democrats have done it in certain states like California, where California used to be blood red. And with legal immigration, everything happened from the 80s, it changed. What if you can turn New York purple?
Yeah.
It changes the math on so much.
Yeah, I don't know if you're, look, he thinks he's going to win New York, and this was a guy who's loved in New York. He's really loved on Long Island and other areas throughout New York. I don't think he wins the presidency through New York, but I do think it changes a lot of the seats that are there. I mean, you have Lee Zeldin, you have Elise Stefanik, you have a lot of people. I don't think they like Dan Goldman. I know that most people don't like AOC, but she's in a pretty strong Bronx district of her own. But even her constituents are starting to turn on her a little. But that's an opportunity to win some really big House seats and Senate seats. So that's where we could turn this purple, much like Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, won seats here. I think you could take a few seats out of that state, and that's a big, big move for Republicans in general.
Could you imagine, though, the when they break it out county by county in the voting blocks and how it goes, and the entire state of New York is red and just New York City is blue? Can you imagine that being the case?
Well, yes.
It's largely, especially upstate.
Because that's where my wife's from, right? I mean, and it is blood red up there. I mean, it is cut yourself blood red.
Well, Long Island, too, is kind of more of a purple shade. There's a little bit of blue there, but it's mostly very conservative area. And if you don't know a lot about New York, Manhattan is going to be your blue district. Harlem, obviously, and Spanish Harlem, those areas, very blue. But once you start getting outside, you go a little bit up north, up the Hudson. That's a very red area. That's where you do all your hunting. That's where all the Italians from Brooklyn, we go up, we do our hunting, we go camping. I mean, upstate New York in general,
just up there.
A lot of farmland. I mean, it's a beautiful area. And Buffalo, we don't forget about Buffalo either. I mean, that's a pretty conservative
I've never been out
area.
there, so I can't.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I've never been to Buffalo.
But what we're seeing now, and this is the interesting part about Spanish Harlem, when you start talking about the Bronx, when you start talking about these areas that are largely of different ethnicities, okay, these are the areas that seem to be changing and backing him. And so between that and also seeing this extreme term of the working class that are saying, he's with me. Like, I don't know about the rest of y'all. That's the guy that I'm backing on this stuff. That's where I think you're starting to see why he's going into these certain communities where you would say you would never do a rally in a presidential year in that sort of area. You would never go to New York.
And the question is, why wouldn't they? And why wouldn't he? Because everything has pointed to you should, and he has. It's the smartest thing, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a political genius to figure that one out. I believe that the people on this show could have helped him figure that one out. Obviously, they didn't need our help because they're doing it.
Well, you know what? He believed in it more so than any one of us did initially.
Yeah.
We're like, he's not good. Why would he go to New York? He's showing you why he's going to New York. 60,000 people.
No doubt about it. When we continue, the Mossad did something that made me smile. And I never, rarely ever, because I'm doing it now, I rarely ever smile when people are having a tough time and things are challenging. When it's terrorists and their beepers are blowing up, I cannot wipe the smile off my face. We'll talk about it next on Extra 106.3, and we'll knock out the headlines too.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
It's the unsung hero of your home, your garage door. You never think about it. You just hit the button and it opens until it doesn't. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. So you're ready for a new garage door. At All Four Seasons, we offer fast service, affordable prices, and a huge selection of styles, colors, and custom features. Improve your curb appeal, lower your energy bill, secure your home, and increase your property value. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 SeasonsGarages.com.
Foundation repair isn't pretty, but at Atlanta Ramjack, we make it easy. If you notice any cracks in your foundation, they need to be addressed as soon as possible to reduce additional costs that come with the repair. Why call us? Foundation repair is all we do. We have highly trained estimators that will thoroughly evaluate your home and only recommend what is needed. If you are experiencing foundation problems, please contact us at ramjack.com/Atlanta or call us at 770-502-8881.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to the Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Have you thought about securing your hard-earned assets? Do you have concerns about the future? Protecting assets is crucial, and that's where Nelson Elder Care Law excels. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we provide absolute assurance and peace of mind through our trademarked Absolute Protection Trust, tailored services in estate planning, probate administration, Medicaid crisis solutions, guardianship, and conservatorship. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and empower informed decisions. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com for asset protection and peace of mind.
Oh man, look at my backyard. Looks like a tornado met a hurricane in a desert. I'm going to tell her to turf off. Or maybe you'd rather turf on with ATL Turf Co., the Southeast's leading turf installer. Whether you'd like a new football field, putting green, or have us create the perfect maintenance-free backyard of your dreams, find ATLTurfCo.com. Make your yard great again. Visit ATLTurfCo.com and see what we've created for customers like you in the Southeast. ATLTurfCo.com. And no more yard cackling.
Hey, it's Tug from my friends, the Frost family of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about their family's company all the time here on Extra 106.3. First Liberty has helped hundreds of small businesses grow by saying yes when the big banks say no. On Wall Street, opportunities to earn big returns are everywhere. But for Main Street investors, those opportunities are hard to find. Until now. Our First Liberty notes are now open to qualified Main Street investors, paying interest rates of 8 to 13% while helping fuel the growth of small businesses right here in Georgia. With a few basic qualifications and with as little as $25,000, qualified Main Street investors just like you can earn an 8 to 13% interest rate. If this is you, they'd love to hear from you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and consider joining the First Liberty family today. That's FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Thursday, September 19th. Georgia Pacific officials say they are looking to redevelop their building on Peachtree Street that has been a part of the Atlanta skyline for years. Company officials say they want to reimagine the entire city block and renovate the building with plans to bring in restaurants, new offices, and outdoor areas. They hope to start construction next year and finish by 2027. The company has not released their funding plans. Terrorists Deshaun Woods and Brittany Hall were both found shot to death after a massive fire destroyed their home in DeKalb County. The bodies were discovered after DeKalb County firefighters extinguished the deadly blaze. An arrest has been made in Meriden, Mississippi, but the DeKalb County Police Department has not released the suspects' names or any details surrounding the case. And in sports, the Atlanta Braves stayed within 2 games of the New York Mets for the final National League wildcard spot with a 7-1 win over the Cincinnati Reds last night. Marcell Ozuna homered and Gio Urshela drove in 3 runs in the win. The Braves and Reds will close out their 3-game series this afternoon with Chris Sale on the mound for the Braves. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
It was a partly cloudy day. It looked to be very nice in some of the videos that I've seen. Like the day looked to be a very pretty day in Lebanon. When the day changed abruptly for thousands of Hezbollah terrorists, when their pagers that they had been given by their Hezbollah leadership, their terrorist leadership, exploded. Now there's 12 dead terrorists and thousands of terrorists that have been injured. And I got to tell you, I don't wish ill will on many people. Terrorists, they make the list.
I always say this. There's only really 2 things I hate. Don't use the word hate a lot. I hate cancer. I hate terrorism.
Yeah.
All right. Those are like my 2.
Yeah.
And if you're involved in either one, well, okay, hate you. To hear this story, this is like one of the greatest espionage stories of all time.
Yeah.
So if you don't know basically how this goes back, so on June 30th, you had an airstrike that took out the chief of staff of Hezbollah, and the Israelis took him out. And what Hezbollah realized is that they used his cell phone technology to track him down. And so they made an adjustment. No more cell phones, guys. They can track us this way. Let's go old school. Let's go pagers. And they ordered thousands of pagers through a company in Hungary. What they didn't know, and here's the fun part about it, was that the Mossad was already ahead of this. And what they ended up doing was putting a small amount of explosives into each one of them. And so by the time it filtered over about a 2 to 3 month period through the organization, they waited until yesterday.
Yeah, get them comfortable with using this new technology, technology.
And then called them to detonate. And so all over the Middle East, you had people basically having, because you know where you put your pager, right? I mean, everybody, like, if you had a pager back.
I never had one. I wasn't lucky
I wasn't there.
But I knew where they went.
But you want to talk about taking off so many man parts yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to know what the psychological hit of we can get you anywhere, quit lobbing rockets at us.
I'm telling you, that is the most impactful thing, because terrorists always have people scared to live, right? You're scared to go in certain places. I remember my brother-in-law was stationed in Qatar for a year. There was a no-go zone. I know Hillary Clinton said that didn't exist, but he was there to see it. They had the black flags hanging out in front of businesses, and Americans knew you do not go over there. So they're always making people uncomfortable, making people on edge. Now, every terrorist organization, Hamas, Hezbollah, and their supporters in Iran, do not know what to think, because they don't know what's coming next.
That's the important part, because think about what they did in Lebanon before, when they went 2 months ahead of time and went ahead and planted something in a room that only took out that room. Think about every time they turn on a light switch. Think about every time they answer a phone. Yeah, they're going to be jumpy. They're going to be afraid.
Like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rockers.
Yeah. Now, the good thing is, I think, for Iran, is they'll have a bunch of Olympic athletes they could throw into women's sports now. But besides that, I don't see where they're not going to be worried about a lot of these things. I think this is brilliant. And you know what? This didn't really have any kind of collateral damage. If you've seen any of the videos, the man that had exploded on his hip, it hurt him only, and the others were within 5 feet of him.
And trying to figure out what just happened.
And they just like, whoa, what just happened? But at the same time, you know, I look at this and go, wow. Thinking about what that pager, and a pager is very basic technology compared to what we have. if I'm Donald Trump, if I'm anyone, I'm not taking a pager from anybody from the Secret Service, the Homeland Security, anywhere. These phones that we have, these are the kind of thoughts that, man, this is a really scary time that we have technology that can do those things. But I do love the fact that they used it in this way. And, part of this comes from, and I'll tell you why, you let them be outraged. Hezbollah's freaking out about it. How dare them? How dare them? The reason that the Israelis did this, by the way, is that they uncovered an assassination plot on Israeli soldiers and Israeli military leaders that was very similar to what they were doing with exploding devices. And when they uncovered that, they go, well, we got an idea too. And they turned it around on them.
I think it's amazing. And I love the fact that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Antony Blinken had no idea, because they would have leaked it to the Iranians. They would have, I believe, that they sympathize with the Iranians. You can't convince me otherwise. You don't send somebody that you don't sympathize with $6 billion. You don't do that. I would never send my worst enemy $6 billion. It just makes no sense. So when the Israelis, who are not even claiming credit at this point, they've been very, very quiet about it. Nobody else is able to pull this off. U.S. Special Forces probably could pull something off like this, but we don't have the leadership in the White House to set up a mission like this. We don't have anybody that's willing to take on terrorists the way that the Israelis have, because they have to, out of necessity. I think it's unbelievable that these people are scared to death. They don't know what's coming next. Not only have the Israelis wiped away the majority of Hamas, and even to the point where Yahya Sinwar is about to, or at least entertaining, leaving the leadership of Hamas and being exiled to somewhere else because he knows he's next.
The fun part is that when, as of this morning, Hezbollah vows vengeance for this attack from the Mossad, I would be sitting back going, okay.
Yeah. Good luck.
There's nothing.
We got something for you.
There's nothing that is more imprisoning. And this is terrorism really delves into trying to psychologically mess with you. Like that's the goal.
That's the point.
It's the psychological, because you're small and you're weak, but I'm going to psychologically terrorize you. What happens when now you're in a prison of your own mind, knowing that they managed to put explosives into every one of our pagers and they just blew my manhood off?
Yeah. And the other good part is it exposed people who say, oh, we're not part of that. We're not them. We're not giving them money.
Now you got the scar, brother.
But yeah, you have the scar.
The Iranian diplomat to, oh, goodness. It's on the
to Iran.
Yeah,
to Iran. The diplomat to Iran had his pager explode, and you're like, wait a minute, why do you have a Hezbollah pager?
And wait till you find out the others that have been, because there were, 2,500, I think they said?
I think it's up to 3,000 now.
Is it now 3,000?
Like 12 deaths as of this morning.
Yeah, let's go ahead and figure out exactly who these people are and see what their connections are, because I'll tell you where they're connected. The UN, because we already know about what the UN and some of their aid workers have been doing, and that is they were part of the October 7th attack. So it's very interesting to see whose pagers blew up, because that really does show you the people who sit here and say they're not a part of this, or this isn't a proxy with Hezbollah, or they don't work with Hezbollah. Well, they've just been exposed, and that's what I think was brilliant about it as well.
Me too, man. I tell you, it's unreal to believe that they were able to pull this off. I mean, just the time, the attention to detail, the ability to wait.
Shalom.
The ability to wait for the right moment. Get these people used to using this old, outdated technology. And when they're just getting comfortable with it, blow off their balls.
Right.
How cool is that? And to see the videos.
Mossad has some balls doing that.
And what was so interesting to me is the complainers that were on Twitter that were like, look at this mayhem they cause. It's like, brother, it don't get more tactical than that.
Look at it.
It's small enough explosive to where it gets you. And for every single one of those terrorist MFers who grabbed their pager and looked at it wondering what's coming in, and it popped them in the face.
Like the knuckleheads looking at it, the little bitty screen.
What's it say?
Yeah,
It says shalom.
Yeah, 72 versions. It probably, ain't no telling what it says. You know,
Bye-bye.
Yeah, absolutely. You gone.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what it says, but I just know that some knuckle. Can you just, I mean, I am not in favor of by and large, of people being hurt or maimed. Unless you're a terrorist, and then I love it, and then I can't get enough of it because look at the death and destruction from 9/11 to October 7th and everything in between.
Yeah, I don't feel bad at all.
Not even a little bit.
And it's hard to not feel bad because
it's not for me.
You know that they've been indoctrinated into this, but there's still a morality not to follow through with what these people are telling you. But at the same time, man, you're not good people.
I will have to pray for forgiveness. Because there's nothing in my broken, sinful soul that is going to make me go, this is not okay because I think it is.
Not one of these guys that when they go into a meeting, they're like, turn on the light. No, you do it. No, you do it.
I'm not doing it. I'm not.
All right, grab the PowerPoint.
But that's the thing. Like, think about that. In everyday operation, let's say the four of us, including Captain Goey Virgin River, our board op, if we were afraid to walk into the building because we didn't know what was going to happen to us, if you flipped on a light, you lost your arm. If you turned on a microphone, you hit that button and then something would blow up. That's the type. Whatever you do for a living, think about all the routine things that you do for a living. Maybe you're the first person to the office and you flip the lights on. Maybe you're sending text messages out to people for, hey, we're coming to do your lawn today. Whatever it is, it can be anything. And you were afraid to do that. That's the way terrorists are living right now.
Man, right now, if my phone rang, I'd dive under a desk if I were them.
I have so many buttons back here, you wouldn't believe it.
No, exactly. That's the point, and that's what
I don't want you to blow up, Joe.
No, we don't. And I don't expect that you're going.
But I would like you to get shocked and pee yourself.
Although it does make you wonder what is available to do. I know they implanted from this company. I saw the name of the company that provided the pagers. They probably won't get any more business from those terrorists.
No,
but
they were Hungarian, weren't they?
The thing I read, they were at least made in Taiwan by what's the name of the company?
I've got it here for you. It's a Taiwanese pager maker. They denied on Wednesday that they had produced the devices, but they did have a part in it. They went through Hungary, through the capital of Budapest, and that's where they were apparently
intercepted.
Got a hold of them.
Dude, and do you think about how quick you would have to be to get that done? Because they know the shipment's coming, right?
Yeah.
It's not like FedEx didn't send them a note, hey, your pagers are on the way.
Yeah.
It's no different from you ordering from Amazon.
Right.
So to be that surgical is the best way. I mean, and precise and quick and all that is utterly impressive. Brilliant. Absolutely it is. But it does make me nervous because if you think about, remember when we were at the fire department and they talked about EV batteries catching on fire?
Yes.
Dude, if you did something, and the Chinese, I think, are capable of hacking systems to make batteries overheat and things. I just think about what is available to happen.
Well, look at our communication devices. Like I'm holding up right now. It's my earbuds, and they use small batteries and chargers. So this little earbud case, I mean, think about what it could do if somebody were to get a hold of it. And the possibilities of it. It's scary. God, well, I hope not. I hope this isn't a warfare that, would be used on the American people or people, and that's the scary part for me about it.
Of course, and that's why it scares me to death, too. And then you bring in, the continuation with the walkie-talkies and the solar panels. Yesterday, the attack continued. It does. As much as I like it, it weirds me out too just a little bit. Chuck, Rhino, and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. The Teamsters have decided who their union will endorse, and the answer surprised everyone, including the union members. Next on the Morning Extra.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's a camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
There are a lot of perfectly nice, peace-loving Muslims, and they'll stay that way until their percentage of the population reaches critical mass, at which point it's death to the infidels.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Been a little cooler in the mornings, but the evenings and the afternoons, I guess the afternoon first, then the evenings have warmed back up. Like today, it'll be back up to 85, 86 degrees outside. Some people would say that's hot. I don't. I mean, but I like it 100 degrees and 100% humidity. That's just me. I'm an unusual. I'm like a unicorn when it comes to that stuff. So I love the heat. Doesn't bother me any. My wife, on the other hand, not so much. Being from upstate New York, she did not grow up with this kind of heat. It's just different. So she wants to run the AC temperature way down. She wants the house to feel like a damn igloo. And I'm like, sweetheart, can we please find a happy medium? You're freezing me out. The point is that the temperature goes up, the temperature goes down. Everybody in the house likes a different temperature. So you're putting a lot of stress on your HVAC. When you're going up with the temperature, you're pulling it down. There's a lot going on. So make sure you stay cool, or one, with Carrier products from Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Carrier systems are designed to keep you comfortable no matter the temperature. Advanced cooling technologies, advanced warming technologies, advanced heating technologies. You'll enjoy a refreshing home no matter what the temperature is. And now you can save up to $2,000. $2,000. That's right, $2,000 to ensure you stay cool the rest of the summer and into the fall and winter. You'll stay warm. Carrier comes with excellent warranties and added peace of mind. So call Chuck and his team. They've been serving Atlanta for 77 years. Family owned and operated. How do you get a hold of them? Easy. 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com.
The EQE SUV electrifies the spirit, soul, and body of the Mercedes-Benz SUV. User-friendly technology meets thoughtful utility, thorough refinement, and earth-friendlier power. Satisfying for both drivers and passengers with innovations that only Mercedes-Benz can deliver. Experience the all-electric 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 SUV today. Lease one today for just $569 per month for 36 months with $7,063 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models, and visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta Sandy Springs through September 30th, 2024. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Hi, this is Ben.
And I'm Walt from Horizon Background Screening. About 15 years ago, I was running a private investigations company, and my partner Ben here was running a background screening company and saw the need to put the two together. The background screening helps employers, churches, volunteer organizations, and those sorts of things to help find the right people, get those right people in place, and screen out people that would be a hindrance to their company. On the other end, the investigative work, we can help companies, individuals, insurance companies, law firms gather information, a lot of times around lawsuits and other legal work like that, but also helping people when they're going through a divorce or going through other hard things in life.
25 plus years, we've just been blessed with growth and have basically become a nationwide provider of both pre-employment background checks and private investigative services.
The best way for people to find us is on our website. A quick Google search of Horizon Background Screening or look at us at horizonscreening.com.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Bronies, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. With daily commentary you'll hear throughout the day. And he's on live with the Morning Extra every Tuesday morning at 7:30. Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3. And catch all of Neil's commentary on the Extra app.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Feeling so good because it's Friday Eve. Maybe you feel the same way. There's just nothing better. There's nothing better. There's not a better way to start a day knowing that you're a day away from the weekend. So if you hear the joy in my voice, that's the reason.
That's it.
That's the reason.
All right.
I want to bring up something because I don't know a lot about unions. I'll be honest. I'm not dumb to it, but kind of, because I didn't grow up with that.
No.
I grew up with none of that. My wife, like you, grew up in New York. She's upstate. So she knew a lot about unions and that sort of stuff, and I just have never been around it. But the more I see about it, I'm just like, I don't know. It's not anything that I'm interested in per se. Government unions, I think, are horrendous. I want nothing to do with those. I think those are terrible, terrible, terrible. Private unions, man, you do whatever you want to. I find it interesting, however, that unions have voted for the Democrat on the presidential ticket every time since 1992. This year, slightly different. This year, they've decided they are not going to do that. They're not going to endorse anyone.
Well, management who run the Teamsters Union has decided it's not.
Yeah.
But by and large, the constituency basically decided by almost a 20-some% margin, we're in favor of Donald Trump. And I thought it was kind of interesting how he spun that, because the question ended up becoming yesterday, is that an insult to him that they won't endorse him? And he went on stage in New York and just flat out said, I have the constituency.
Yeah.
It's like,
Which
that's
is
all
what
I need.
matters.
Yeah. There's nothing that matters except for the voters. And so now you're going to see the Teamsters in Democrat areas go, we endorse Kamala Harris, because that's one person who has an agenda to do so. But the voters are what matters. And I think he's absolutely right. Any of the working class people that are working that are actually Teamsters and who realize that the policies of Kamala Harris, of Joe Biden, are the reason why the country is in such bad shape, they're ready to get back to a Trump economy, so they are going to vote for their family and for what they need. And that's where Kamala Harris and the Democrats are freaking out about it right now. So, of course, they're going to counter by saying, well, this Teamster here in California, they said they like us best, this one person. But, the constituents, they will speak words.
59-34 was the
It's
vote.
not a little bit.
That's a landslide in anybody's
Some might call
estimation.
it a plurality.
Yes, that's exactly right.
59-34.
But if I were a Teamster, and I'm not, if I were, I'd be so pissed. Like, you're not representing me. You're not representing what this group of people wants. Why? Why is it happening? Well, I mean, I would demand answers, and I would be screaming it from the rooftops if I were paying some union dues.
Well, the same reason that those guys walk out with $100,000 contracts or making millions of dollars as these Teamster union leaders when their workers aren't getting what they need. And then when these Teamsters fight, they still get the paychecks. And much like you've seen with Sean Fain and others, they continue to be able to collect money and live in these beautiful houses with security. And their people are losing jobs because they forced UPS to do something that they couldn't afford to do, or they forced Yellow Freight to do something, and now none of them have jobs. These people speak for them all the time. The union needs to stand up against their own union bosses.
I would think so.
But this is something that the mafia has come up with, and the unions have been mafia-related for so long that they hold people hostage and workers, and they promise them all these things, just like the Democrats, and then they never deliver.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, Boeing, I was just going to piggyback on really quick. Boeing is about to furlough people once a week, or I'm sorry, 1 week a month, every month out in Seattle during that whole strike because we can't afford to pay y'all.
Well, I thought it was really important. As we joked around about to open up the show, we all were checking out Gutfeld because of having Donald Trump on there, and I, for the first time in months, I got hooked on watching Fox News. And it was interesting to see even the union representatives that showed up, and these were the people that are like, hey, I'm the union rep for my group. Again, you're not part of upper management. You're just, hey, I'm the union rep for my team. Here's what's going on. And they all pointed out the same thing. Yeah, we would have liked for the union as a whole to represent and to say that Donald Trump is our person. But by and large, they were like, it doesn't change the fact that that's who they're voting for.
Right. And it's a slap directly in the face of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. You can't every presidential election since 92 except this one.
How do you and then this is what all the numbers are skewing. We already know she's got a problem with men. We'll get into that a little bit later. We already know that she has a problem based on some of the AJC data with the African American community. How do you have the working class when you're a Democrat? How is that the group that is basically saying by 25% we have no interest in you?
Well, I think it's pretty straightforward.
So what is the Democrat Party at that point?
They are. It's like a melding of the neocons that none of us like, and then the Democrat way. So pretty much we're getting rid of Dick Cheney, the Bush family. We're getting rid of all these folks, and we're swapping them for RFK and Tulsi Gabbard and Elon Musk. I got to say, I'll take the deal.
I'll take the deal, too. I mean, if you want Dick Cheney, the same people that you complained were warmongers, the same people that backed...
and now hugging him and all
the same people that backed the Patriot Act and spying on Americans and American surveillance system, go ahead. You can have them. That's why you want them. They want to spy on Americans. They're all yours. I'm done with the weaponization of the government against us. So is RFK Jr. They're done with the threat to democracy that is the Democrat Party, right? They are done. And I love that. I love the fact that these are really... Elon Musk compared to Dick Cheney, I'll take it every single day. Are you kidding me right now?
Well, but then, like RFK...
And Liz Cheney, is she even is she even relevant except for the fact that she loaded her pockets with government money and taxpayer money?
That's it. And I flagged something that RFK wrote. It was Tim Walz. He quote tweeted Tim Walz. There's no guarantee of free speech on misinformation and hate speech. And RFK quote tweets and says, yes, there is, Tim. It's called the Constitution. That's exactly what prevents the government from stifling dissent by labeling something hate speech or misinformation, which is exactly what Hillary Clinton was talking about the other day.
The comedy that happens is that you'll have people be like, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and prove this by saying you can't shout fire in a theater. That actually already went through the Supreme Court. Guess what? You can. Okay? Like this is the absolutism of all this stuff. So to have somebody who's running for vice president that continues to extol ideas that are largely communist. It's what you continue to get on a regular basis. And their entire game at this point is to try and ignore and to try and act like they're not extolling these virtues that are largely communist.
Well, yeah, because nobody's going to sign up for that. So they have to hide it. That's why the Hill article that we went over yesterday was so important, in my view. Democrat voters are not worried about Kamala's flip-flopping because they're trying to appear one way while not really being that way. Trying to appear like they don't want to stifle free speech, but they do. Trying to appear that they're centrist when they're not. Their values haven't changed. They're going to govern to the left, which is what that Hill article said. Don't worry, Democrats. They're just doing this to get the fools to vote for them, and then they're going to do exactly what they've always done.
Yeah, I think that's why you're seeing a number of black voters move to a different direction and move towards Donald Trump because they realize 12 out of 16 years the Democrats have run this party. They keep telling us it's going to get better and they're going to do something for us, but you've had plenty of opportunities to do it. And if you want to go back even further than the past 12 years and go back to the Clinton administration and further, you're going to realize, wait wait a minute, they've promised us these things for so long. And I think that's what a lot of black voters are seeing. You're also seeing that in other communities. So when you start looking at these numbers, a lot of people don't fall for it, but there are so many people that do. Democrats are smart in the fact that they can lie to their... If you could lie to your base every single day and they'd vote for you, why not?
Why wouldn't you?
If you could sit and tell them that there's really nothing that's going to change, as bad as it is today, we're going to do our best to make it even worse. So give us 4 more years and they still vote for you because they will not give you a policy or issue. That's great. Keep doing it. Why not?
It seems to be working. RFK, another tweet, and he's posted just video after video of Harris and Walz talking about how your right to free speech, your First Amendment right, is not a right. It's a privilege. That's what Kamala said. There's an extraordinary inversion of the two parties. I don't feel at home, RFK says, with the people who believe in censorship, which is the Democrat Party, and why he's left. Welcome aboard, sir. We don't agree on everything with RFK. It's probably 50-50, but I at least respect who he is as a man. When we continue on Extra 106.3 after a Fox News update, something that Los alluded to. Dude, Kamala's got a big problem with dudes, and their idea to fix it is a complete fail. Tell you what it is next on the Morning Extra.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
Did you know that most bald men still own and keep their comb? They just can't part with it.
Can't part with it, ladies and gentlemen. I was waiting for you to... Yeah. Oh, it reminds me, I got a story on the Fuller Brush Man.
Oh, no. Oh, great.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
This fall, the gridiron calls, which means you'll be road tripping to games across the South, and you'll need a reliable ride to get you there. And Subaru of Gwinnett has the vehicle for you. But a new car, truck, or SUV from Subaru of Gwinnett is about way more than just getting to the games. It's about getting the family home. It's about getting to work safely, but it's also about getting the most out of every adventure. If you're driven by an adventurous heart, the 2025 Subaru Outback shares your spirit with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 32 miles per gallon. Or maybe it's the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester. It holds the road with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, and it holds everything you need for the tailgate. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com and let your adventurous mind run wild. Then stop in for a test drive on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Madmen. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
This is House Call for Health. A federal agency greenlights Apple's new sleep apnea detection feature. The Food and Drug Administration clearing the feature for use. It's now accessible in Apple Watches, including the Series 9, 10, and Ultra 2. The American Medical Association reports about 30 million people are affected by sleep apnea, but only about 6 million people know they have it. The feature is meant to help those who may be reluctant to test for the condition or are unaware they're affected by it. The sleep apnea feature monitors a user's breathing disturbances while they sleep and displays nightly metrics in the watch's health app. Health experts warn the feature's results may not always be accurate, and insurance companies may not pay for sleep apnea therapies based on the watch's data alone. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention describes sleep apnea as a condition that occurs when breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Kamala Harris sees an end to right to work. No private sector worker will be allowed to avoid union membership and union dues if that's what the majority of his co-workers want.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
The first big Trump rally since the second assassination attempt. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
These encounters with death have not broken my will. They have really given me a much bigger and stronger mission.
The former president in Uniondale, New York.
I will stop the Kamala crime wave, and we will do everything we can. We're going to get these violent criminals behind bars. We're going to get them out of our country.
He has pledged mass deportations to deal with record illegal immigration.
Donald Trump and his extremist allies will keep trying to pull us backward. We all remember what they did to tear families apart.
Vice President Harris addressing the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. A Fox News poll gives her a 12-point lead among Hispanics and also 12 points among independent voters. The poll gives Harris an overall 2-point lead over Trump nationally.
The economy remains the number one issue of voter concern, and the former president is favored on that issue by 5 points. But the VP is favored on uniting the country, helping the middle class, and protecting rights and freedoms.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The Teamsters have become the only major labor union not to endorse Vice President Harris, instead backing nobody. Though an internal poll among Teamsters members shows a wide majority support Trump. The manhunt appears to be over for the gunman in the Kentucky highway shootings, ending on day 12 of the search.
While they were in there, they began to detect a strong odor of what appeared to be a decomposing flesh, whether it could be animal or human.
State Police Commissioner Philip Burnett says they believe the remains found are Joseph Couch's. His shooting spree targeting cars on I-75 left 5 people seriously wounded. It's going to get a little cheaper to buy a car, maybe get a mortgage and pay off credit cards.
The Federal Open Market Committee decided to reduce the degree of policy restraint by lowering our policy interest rate by a 0.5 percentage point.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell, after all the rate hikes earlier to bring inflation down. On Wall Street, stocks dropped after the cut yesterday. But this morning, Dow futures are surging up almost 500 points. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Want weather? Grab your phone. Need traffic? Grab your phone. Conservative news and talk, also on your phone. Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Some of the things that will be discussed at your office today will be the Federal Reserve cut. Glad there's a neutral Federal Reserve, aren't you? When they do it this close to an election.
So impressed with the idea to stimulate the economy this close as we're teetering on recession.
They do it all the time, every election year. I mean, it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we didn't see that coming.
Yeah, no doubt. The attack continued on the Hezbollah terrorists. And the fact that it went further throughout the day yesterday, it was walkie-talkies, it was radios, and it was solar panels that began to explode.
Yeah.
Which, again, puts me in a little bit of a shaky place because I'm afraid at some point that's used on everyday people. That does scare me. But while it's happening to terrorists, I can't help but smile.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I see a lot of, I guess social media posts and stuff saying, well, what if, somebody innocent had that pager? And I'm like,
well, if they had the pager,
they're not innocent. Like, how stupid is
Far
that?
from innocent.
But yeah, look, this is a new warfare that I think will go down in history as one of the craziest and most I guess, succinct little operation that you could do without hurting other people, because in reality, you're not hearing anybody tell you that other people got hurt outside of Hezbollah and people who were connected to them. So I think it's brilliant. I think it's really done a good job in scaring these people into not doing stupid things.
It's fun that the pagers blow up, and then the next day it's the radio equipment. It's like, and you recognize that this was all purchased through a particular company and ended up being a shell company that was run by the Mossad. And they're like, funny. Yeah, you can keep buying all you want. Yeah. And we're going to put explosives in all of it. And then
you'll find out soon.
Down the road, we're just going to say, boom.
Yeah. We're going to send one page out and bam. Just funny, man. It is. Kamala Harris is trailing Trump nationally, and I want to play you a clip of her, of maybe why that is, because I think what she said in the past is relevant now, even though she's flip-flopped. We talked about the article from The Hill telling Democrats, don't worry. She's just saying these things to get elected. We believe she's going to govern to the left. This is one of the things that she has said about legal gun ownership in the United States of America, and that's maybe why the polling is trending the way it is.
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Wow.
There's no reason for you to walk into my home.
Wow.
So legally, you're allowed to use marijuana and other drugs in other states. So I think we should be able to walk in that home and make sure you're using it correctly. I mean, let's play with this, phrasing in any other situation. Would you allow it? I don't think so. This is something that, you should be scared of. When she tells you she's not going to ban any kind of guns because, she wants to relate to you and says, Tim and I own guns. We'll never do that. Right. And then the next day puts out ban weapons. This is somebody who is doing what they can to disarm the American people. It's exactly what the Nazi Socialist Party did. It's out of their playbook. Why would you not expect her to do that? I hope that people do wake up to it, but unfortunately there are too many people that will never do the research into what she's actually saying.
Oh, you don't even got to do the research. I mean, it's there. She said it over and over. You're
Doesn't
right.
Matter.
I know what you're saying.
Doesn't matter. She told everybody everything.
Just listen. Just listen to her. That's what I would stress.
The idea that, as she's pointing out firearms, she talks about, well, we're going to go into your home and make sure you're doing the right thing. All right, now apply that to what you're doing on the internet.
And what is the right thing?
But it's always going to be, it's that little tiny bit of, well, I'll accept that, but I won't accept other things.
Just leaving the door cracked.
And they don't care. Their entire thing ends up becoming, we're in charge, we make the rules, and you have to comply with them. Compliance ends up becoming out of a situation where you say, hey, if you're providing me more security and safety, then I'll comply with what you're saying. The Democrats are offering neither of those.
Right, but they want compliance.
Right.
They certainly want that. That's the way totalitarianism works.
Yeah.
You will comply. You have no other choice. Just like she said, we will walk, just because you're a responsible gun owner, we will walk into your house and make sure that you're being responsible. Good Lord. What's next? And that's what we're all getting at. What's next? What if they don't want you eating meat?
Yeah.
Because they said it's a hazard. I know. That's why I use that example.
Come up with whatever you want.
Yeah. Insert an example here, because meat is going to change the climate. That's what's causing climate change. We're going to walk in your house and make sure you're not eating too much meat.
Did you get too much meat? Did you buy too much?
At the grocery store?
Or how about this? You're not allowed to grow your own food because we are controlling how many you're supposed to have, and you can't have more than anyone else. I've already told you shouldn't want more than what you need. So we're going to come in and take your vegetables or your garden or shut your garden down. All those things are a slippery slope for what they want. It'll never get done, I hope, but nowadays, I don't know what to expect anymore. But I do know that would be a huge problem if people were coming and knocking on doors saying, we need to come in and check to make sure everything's legal. Because They already told you they want a community that will raise your children. So now they're going to go, hey, we don't know homeschooling. It's legal. Are we going to come in and find out what you're teaching and shut you down or arrest you because of what you're teaching?
They hate that. They hate the idea of homeschooling.
It's dangerous to think that someone who's been as high up as vice president, as someone who's been as high up as a DA and prosecutor in the state of California, who doesn't recognize fundamental issues within the Constitution, to where she's suggesting when it comes to firearms in your home, well, we'll just come on in. Like that mentality is supposed to be different because your experience level is supposed to be different. If a first-year law school student knows that here are the rules by which there's illegal search and seizure, and she's advocating for it, not just in front of like her husband or us, she was doing it in a crowd of people.
If you want to talk about a group that wants to destroy the Constitution, she's telling you right there and throughout many other things and policies that she said that they want to tear apart the Constitution, rip apart the Supreme Court, rip apart everything so they have full control over the American people. That's exactly who she is. She's telling you who she is. And if you vote for it, you deserve what you get. Unfortunately, I don't think the country can survive with Kamala Harris. I think Elon Musk is absolutely 100% correct that it is the most dangerous person to run for office. And in all honesty, everything that we've built goes away in 1 minute. There is no more diversity. There is nothing. It's one mind, one government, and one control.
Look how quickly they took your energy away from you as far as the United States of America.
Day one.
It's done. Day one. Rhino has been on it since day one. And that's going to come up again a little later in the show when Donald Trump talks about how do we get things back on track, and we'll get to that. There's a reason that Kamala is not doing interviews. I mean, Axios, the leftist media outlet Axios, says that she's dodging interviews. She's actively going around the media because she can't say anything because she knows it's going to be detrimental. And that's probably part of the reason why the polling has remained pretty consistent from the DNC, no bump, the debate, no bump, even though the media said she won it. They talked about it over and over. They took it to the American people. 96% of the media, liberal leftists, said, oh, she won. Debate, no bump. And now the second assassination attempt has not done anything for the Democrats.
Kamala Harris is losing independents by 12 points as of our last poll. She needed to win independents over, and you cannot win independents with the content of what she put out in the debate. We're the only people putting out daily data, and there were, of course, some snap polls. But we all know the game has changed. We all know it comes down to viral stuff on TikTok or whatever. And, we had Trump tied, Trump +6, Trump -6, Trump +6. But you know what? The average still looks like a Trump +2 race. Maybe that one outlier in there. And that's exactly where we thought it was going to be and where it's stabilized at. 2 weeks ago, we had Trump +1. The New York Times agreed with us. Doesn't look like anything's really moving the race. Not a Taylor Swift tweet, not Trump getting shot at. I think it's all baked in. And so, again, you could say, oh, we want to see a bigger lead for Trump. Trump +2 is bigger than he's ever done ever in all of our polling at this point in the election cycle. 2 assassination attempts, your best debate, and the DNC can't get you above Trump. The Kamala Harris campaign must be sweating and acting like begging for an act of God right now. Because, in my opinion, that's all that's going to move these numbers.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing is benefiting her because she is unlikable and nobody believes her.
She has her base and that's it. So everything that you're seeing is from her base. You're not seeing independents come in and go, yeah, no, everything she says is exactly what I want this country to be. That's why when you look at the polls, and Carlos knows because he plays with these numbers, he looks at these numbers, when you break them down and you open it up and you realize Trump's not going to win the black vote. But when you move from a 4% vote to a 12% vote, that 8% swing tells you right then and there. And that's why Nate Silver put out yesterday that he's going to win this thing with 312 electoral votes, because they realize when you start breaking down these numbers, he's gained with women. It's not overtaking Harris that's important. It's how many points he gained. That's the important part.
Brought it up a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and this is going to end up being that one factor. And if we still had exit polling, I think this is what we would get to. Authenticity. That's what this is all coming down to. And the more she talks the more people go, you're fake, you're false, I don't believe you. That's what's happening, especially people that are already pretty, I would say they're cognizant the government is trying to play a game on them. So you marched out this woman who will tell you nothing about her policies, and yet you're saying, hey, vote for her because she's the one for you. No,
but that's what the entire Democrat Party is, right?
At this point, yeah.
Here's our operating system, and we will put any sort of logo on the front. Like if you took the Windows logo off and you put a different logo on, it would still be the Windows operating system, and that's exactly what the Democrat Party is. Remove Biden, put Kamala in. If Kamala doesn't work, remove her, put somebody else in. It's still the same operating system.
And I think this is the challenge that Democrats are by and large going to have to, after this election, have to reevaluate and wonder, all right, where have we gone that it's now turned into it's a Democrat system and it doesn't really matter who our candidate is.
Yes,
this is how we're going to do things.
Yeah, sure.
Well, they're going to have to evaluate that.
That's what she is. She's just the mouthpiece. She's not actually coming up with policy. She's doing exactly what they tell her. Well, exactly. They tell her what to say. They programmed her perfectly. If you can get someone who doesn't understand the law that actually made it as an attorney general and you can get them into this position, why would you not? Why would you not put someone in who, let's be honest, she does have an appeal to people. People do look at her and go, she looks like me. Now, when it comes to the content, that's where she's starting to lose people who are actually informed. She's going to get the uninformed voter. She's going to get the person who just wants joy, but doesn't listen to or dive deep into what the issues are and how it will backfire on them eventually. She's going to get those sheep, and they're going to do that, but it's not going to be enough when you start losing anywhere from 4 to 9 percentage points of bases that you had solid.
She's not getting dudes. I know that. Politico wrote an article about it yesterday that Democrats have alienated the majority of men by condemning any type of masculinity. Now they're trying to fix it, and I say good luck with that, because when your head coach, Tim Walz, acts like Richard Simmons, there's nothing there for me. There's nothing there for me. I feel like a guy's guy. You know, I'll go out and have a beer and hang out and watch some football. I feel like I'm a regular dude. Yeah. Am I you know, there's some things that I don't do like a dude. I don't drink beer, so maybe that's a point against me. But for the most part, I mean, I'm a regular dude.
Your crochet thing, pretty much.
I wish you hadn't brought that up.
I knew you're gay.
But I wish you wouldn't even have brought that one up, though.
But I'm not wearing the panties that you made for me out of crochet.
That's
so nice, though. I don't know why
they are nice.
It was a gift, and I don't know why you would condemn the gift
for a woman.
But my insistence on being obsessed with HD TV is what makes me gay too.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you're still all three of us.
I identify too now.
There we go.
Right, that's the point.
Look at them use that backsplash. But this is true. Kamala Harris realized, and their group realized, that they're going to have a problem with men, and so their answer to it was to go get the most feminine Democrat governor in all of the country.
No, he's a coach.
This is
But that's the problem.
He's a football coach.
Is that he wears the logo coach and he wears the title coach, but he ain't coaching nobody. I never seen a coach look like that before, act like that before.
That dude, they were like, if we go get a military man who's a coach and it's going to resonate. I don't think the Democrats can tell you anything about masculinity anymore. No. It is officially a party that, while it's not run by women, it's essentially a feminine party.
Absolutely. Yes. I actually wrote that down. The feminization of the Democrat Party isn't going to change. I'm telling you. I wrote it down because the men that will vote for Democrats, they're okay with being led by Hollywood and being led by the mainstream media. Dudes aren't. I see it with my own son. When he's watching the debate. He reached out to me about his absentee ballot. The entire baseball team watched the debate together, and they're all saying the same exact things. I'm like, I even asked him, I was like, how does everybody else feel? And he's like, same way.
Yeah.
Same way. We got nothing in common with those people. They have nothing in common with us. There's nothing they're going to do that's going to benefit us in the future, because these kids are in college. They know the struggles that people who have already graduated, that are still looking for jobs, that can't find jobs, that have left college and are still living in their parents' basement. Captain Goey Virgin River's in the same boat.
Yeah, and they're all going to be in the same boat for a long, long time with the way the policies are going and what Kamala Harris wants to do. I also find it really refreshing that women are looking and going, I'm done with this attack on masculinity. I don't want a guy that uses the same eyeliner as I do. I don't want him picking out jeans with me. I don't want him sitting and crying at movies with me. I want him holding me. I want him being the supportive man. Yeah, that's where you're starting to see. So I think a lot of people like that are going to come over. But men also feel attacked. I mean, why do I have to act a certain way? What do you think I have to have these certain feelings for? No, I have been instinct-wise, been kind of programmed to be somebody who, and maybe I'm not always the best at it, but I'm trying to be the best man I can, strength in certain things, be the head of household that I can be, and I don't take that position lightly. I want to make sure that my family's safe every single time. Now, I have a partner in my girlfriend Erin that is just as strong as I am, and I recognize her strength, but I never back down from my masculinity to, cater to her in any way, and she knows that, and quite frankly, she doesn't back down from her masculinity or her femininity with me.
I'll tell you. Go ahead.
My femininity is cute, though.
I was just, it is. It's adorable.
I am adorable.
No, it's just the idea that you have a party that has so horribly missed the mark in the idea that you've actually taken something like masculinity in men who want to provide for their homes, their household, their family, and you've made that something that they're supposed to be ashamed of.
Can I say, that's exactly right. And I just want to piggyback on that before we break here. Look at who they've put in places of authority. Men who play the part of a woman, and dudes aren't accepting of that, especially when it's happening in the military. It cannot happen in the military, and that's exactly where it's happening. Dudes are not going to ever accept that. Never. It's not instinctual, and it's not reality. Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, 7 o'clock hours brought to you by Van Sant Law. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com. We'll continue with the headlines next. And Hillary Clinton's defense of Kamala Harris on her lack of policy is actually indefensible. But she tries. You'll hear from her next.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
You know Diamonds Direct for their exquisite diamonds and fine jewelry. What about luxury watches? With a handpicked collection by the industry's top timepiece experts, skip the waiting list and get the timepiece you've been eyeing right away. And this month only, enjoy 0% interest for 5 years on all the top brands. Imagine owning a $15,000 luxury watch for just $250 a month. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct, where you can shop direct for diamonds and watches.
Shooting drills. A coach who knows the game can teach their team how to improve, but one who genuinely cares about each player
you have what it takes. We got this.
Can inspire them to win. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Oh, man, look at my backyard. Looks like a tornado met a hurricane in a desert. I'm going to tell her to turn maybe you'd rather turf on with ATL Turf Co., the Southeast's leading turf installer. Whether you'd like a new football field, putting green, or have us create the perfect maintenance-free backyard of your dreams, find ATLTurfCo.com. Make your yard great again. Visit ATLTurfCo.com and see what we've created for customers like you in the Southeast. ATLTurfCo.com. And no more yard cackling.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at AbacusPays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at AbacusPays.com.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on this station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Thursday, September 19th. Georgia Pacific officials say they are looking to redevelop their building on Peachtree Street that has been a part of the Atlanta skyline for years. Company officials say they want to reimagine the entire city block and renovate the building with plans to bring in restaurants, new offices, and outdoor areas. They hope to start construction next year and finish by 2027. The company has not released any of their funding plans. Darris Deshaun Woods and Brittany Hall were both found shot to death after a massive fire destroyed their home in DeKalb County. The bodies were discovered after DeKalb County firefighters extinguished the deadly blaze. An arrest has been made in Meriden, Mississippi, but the DeKalb County Police Department has not released the suspects' names or any details surrounding the case. And in sports, the Atlanta Braves stayed within 2 games of the New York Mets for the final National League wildcard spot with a 7-1 win over the Cincinnati Reds last night. Marcell Ozuna homered and Gio Urshela drove in 3 runs in the win. The Braves and Reds will close out their 3-game series this afternoon with Chris Sale on the mound for the Braves. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
I was looking up double standard because Hillary Clinton says there's a double standard happening with the election between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. And this actually took me a little bit down a side road. Some people from where I'm from might call it a dirt road. But I looked up double standard, and in the overall definition that Google AI gave me, a policy or code that treats people or groups differently or in an unfair way, often favoring one person or group over the other. Right, so it makes sense. But then it gives me the examples. I want y'all to see if you can pick out the theme here in the examples as I just glanced across them. A teacher allowing boys to bring candy to lunch, but not girls. Men being paid more than women for the same work. A code that allows men sexual freedom more than women.
What?
But do you see how it's... You wonder why the Democrats are not going to... In our last segment, we talked about Democrats losing men and Politico doing an article about how they're trying to figure out how are we going to win men back. You're never going to, because it's cooked into everything you do. Just like this. Every one of those examples are men get away with it and women don't. Men have the freedom, women don't. Men get paid. That's why Democrats will continue to lose men right there.
That is why there is nothing more powerful in this world than a beautiful woman. And yet,
amen,
we just try and act like that's not how it actually works in this world.
Exactly right.
Like, there are women that'll glide through the entirety of life
100%.
who don't have to have one iota of ambition or ability, but if they're hot, taken care of.
Do it. Look, I'm all for it. That's why, you know what? When you look at both sides, Republican women are so much better looking. But that's just besides that point. They're jealous of these women and jealous of other people, but the reality of this is the reality. Women are not paid less for the same job. It just doesn't happen. Now, women teachers, are they paid less than something else? Another career like, I don't know, maybe oil drilling? Yeah. You know why? Because it's a lot safer to be in a classroom than it is to be on an oil rig. And those are the kind of things that they want to play games with. But the reality of it is they are trying to divide everyone. That's another division. They're going to divide black voters. They're going to divide Hispanic voters, Asian voters, white voters. They divide the entire country. It's part of their game, divide and conquer.
But to think that when Hillary Clinton brings up that there's a double standard in this country, like, well, there is, if you want to claim that there is.
Right.
And she did a good job of it. Well, sort of. When I say a good job, maybe I should restate that. She did a job of it, because when I heard her, I was just like, wait, well, what are you trying to say here?
Well, the interesting part for me is that Kamala Harris is the Democrat representative, the Democrat nominee for president. That is pretty much, outside of being president, one of the highest places you can secure in this country. And yet, you have Hillary Clinton, basically, who's also been the Democrat nominee, claiming that it's a double standard if you don't provide information to people.
She does not have to do it, Kara. I'm going to just cut to the chase. In fact, she's put out policies on her campaign website. Mm-hmm. Anybody who's truly interested can go and read about them. She referenced policies. Mm-hmm. She actually doesn't just have policies and concepts. She has, plans about what to do. I think it's a double standard, and it's a double standard that is partly because they are still getting to know her, but also because they're still grappling with the idea like, oh, am I really going to vote for a woman to be president and commander-in-chief?
If it were Condoleezza Rice,
guilt.
Yeah, if it were Condoleezza Rice, I'd be doing it.
That's a guilt trip.
If it were Winsome Sears, even up in Virginia, I'd be doing it. I'd have no problem doing it, because I believe in those two women.
Vote for Sarah Huckabee Sanders right
exactly,
now.
Absolutely, all of that. But that's the thing, going back to what Los was just talking about, is the fact that she creates this boogeyman, it's a double standard to ask Kamala Harris to put her policies on her website so you can go read them.
To clarify them.
You're doing a job interview for the most powerful position, not in the company, in the world. World. They're not here at Extra. You're not, because if you came in here and I were sitting down with you and I was like, hey, Kamala, welcome. We're really excited to bring you aboard but we need to interview you first. What are you going to do to help us, increase our cume? And she was like, well, I grew up in a neighborhood where, we were really proud to have a lawn.
Cume means the amount of listeners, by the way, for those of you out there.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm asking about something like specific. Yeah, I know, but I grew up in a middle-class family. Like, am I going to hire you? You're interviewing for a job. Of course we want to know about policy. So when you can't talk about policy, when you can't talk about what you're going to do for the American people, because she has yet to tell me one reason why I and my family would want to vote for her. She's got nothing for me.
So I guess, is Morgan Stanley still around?
Yes.
Okay.
You mean the company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just say if I walked into the doors there and I said, do you have any job openings? Yeah, we've got a couple of things. All right, great. I'll take one. Hold on a second. Can you submit a resume? No. No information. None. Yeah. That's basically what she has done. And you have people like Hillary Clinton in this example who's criticizing the idea that you want more information on somebody who's applying for, I don't know, the biggest job in the entire world.
Hillary says, though, she has done it.
She's put out.
So
well, that's true. That is true.
That's kind of right.
That's kind of how you got there, right?
If you're going to put out your resume and, you want to put Willie Brown, Montel Williams and that on there, that's up to you. But that doesn't do anything for me.
Well done, sir.
Is it bad that that's the thing that I took away?
That's what you heard.
She did.
You want to sit here and make everybody pretend like you're the good guy and see what you did? You did it to Kimmer yesterday, and you're doing it again to Hillary.
Had nothing to do with Rhino or I.
Yeah, nothing.
All she said was...
You put the voodoo down on Kimmer.
She's put out.
That's what I picked up on.
Well, listen, you need to get a start somehow, right? And that's That's what it was in California.
And maybe we're wrong. Maybe she did put out her policies.
I've not seen them.
I don't know. I just haven't seen them or heard her actually speak about them, because the 2 interviews, or now 3 maybe, I think, that I've seen, she hasn't given me those. She can't talk about her own issues, so then how can you sit up here and tell me that she is? She won't even talk about her own policies or what she's going to do. She distracts. And not only does she distract, now Tim Walz is doing the same exact thing and running the same exact pattern that they are. And it's so easy to defend now, because when I ask you, okay, how are you going to lower gas prices? And he throws out, I was raised in a middle class. I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
It's working for her. I think I'm going to use it too.
Well, and that's interesting that how Donald Trump, whenever you do ask him that question, he starts going down the road of energy production, and this is what he believes will have an effect on the entirety of the country. And so,
because it worked.
Then he starts pointing out specific policy references.
Yeah.
All right, like, hey, I want to get Keystone Pipeline back going. Here's what I want to do. He's lining these things out. When you ask Kamala Harris to affect prices for middle income families, what are you going to do? Well, I was born in a middle income family. That's that moment where the eyes glaze over, and I think it hasn't taken long for people to go, there's nothing there.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to open up this challenge to any of our Democrat listeners, because I know we got plenty, and you guys are more than welcome to be a part. We respect you, and we respect your opinion. Now, I want to know what policy she's thrown out there. If you're trying to defend this and defend Hillary Clinton, what policy has she thrown out there that would help me, Tug, or Carlos, or even yourself? Like, throw it out there, because if you're going to come to me and say she's going to build 3 million homes, and I'm like, well, do you have a home? And you're going to say, yeah, it doesn't do anything for you. Give me something that will do what she says. I'm going to work for all of the American people. Give me something that she's put out there that will overwhelmingly affect the country and most voters, or most people in this country.
But by design,
404-741-1230.
She's saying nothing because it's a continuation of the current policies.
That's right.
That's
exactly
all.
right. That's all it is.
Joe was the one who was the figurehead at the top. She's the next one. It's a continuation of the policies. There's no change there.
You're going to learn exactly what we've learned from the FBI and the shootings that have happened to Donald Trump. We've learned nothing. You'll learn nothing from Kamala Harris about her policies, and you'll learn nothing from the FBI, and that's by design as well, Rhino.
Yeah, that is design as well. But the reality of it is this. We know this. We know the FBI is crooked. They are not going to do it. And this is why they're asking you, hey, don't worry about this. We're going to take care of it.
That's the most scary part.
Yeah, then you find out that the person leading the probe of the Florida assassination is somebody who hates Donald Trump so much, he had no problem telling everybody in the world how much he doesn't like him. And this is part of the reason that we need to, like, hey, Governor DeSantis, thank you so much for actually taking this seriously. But when you look at the first shooting and you look at the Secret Service and the way that they've flip-flopped on answers, the way they attacked local government, and then the local government's like, hold on one second, we're the ones who said this roof needs to be secure, and you told us you got it and didn't. The FBI cannot lead an investigation. You want to talk about double standards, the FBI would do it completely different for a Democrat, because that's who they're working for, than they would Trump.
Jeffrey Veltri is his name, and to get the job that he has down in Miami, leading the Miami office for the FBI, they went to him and said, dude, you got to scrub your social media. You're out there completely lambasting the President of the United States, former President of the United States. You can't have this job because we can't put you in front of people. They're going to find you immediately. So to give you this job, you got to go scrub. And guess what he did? And now, to Rhino's point, dude is leading the investigation on the second assassination attempt. When you hear people talk about draining the swamp like Donald Trump has, and now RFK has talked about, this is exactly what they're talking about.
Had he had posts on there attacking, let's say, minorities, yeah, but he probably never gets a job, okay? But when it came to attacking Donald Trump, they said, we're going to get the job, but in the interest of not seeming partisan, will you please take this down? Both of them should be disqualifying.
Of course they should. But for them, for the swamp, for the actual people in D.C., that's what got him the job.
It was a badge of honor.
That's right.
Hey, he's on the team.
We can't say it out loud, Rhino. We're going to wear it as if it is something that we are all about, and they are. but we can't tell you about it. We can't tell you where we really are because we need to look a particular way. Kamala Harris is doing the exact same thing in her campaigning. She's saying all the right things, the quote-unquote right things. And then as soon as she's elected, she goes right back to where her values are, where the swamp is. Yeah. They're one in the same.
Yeah, they really are one and the same. And if you want to make it look like the FBI isn't partisan, well, you're not doing a good job by putting the lead agent or the person in charge up in front of the podium, knowing of his history and his anti-Trump rhetoric. You already look at polls and see that most majority of American people don't trust the FBI. And why should they? Because they can't do anything right and they continue to lie to people. And then Congress has to call them in, and Jim Jordan and Jim Banks and all the others that are actually doing the job. When they call you out and they say, well, here, hold on, let's look at this, let's see why, and then say, but you're not telling the truth. You can't trust these people. And I don't expect there to be a good investigation. And just like the first shooting, even though they feel like they've got this kind of wrapped up, we still have no answers from that. We haven't gotten answers from the FBI on a lot of things that we want, to be kind of brought out there or be transparent on, I guess is the best way to say that. I can't trust this. I can't trust this, especially when whistleblowers that work for the FBI are the ones who have to come out and hide and say, hey, I'm afraid of the retribution because we've seen it in the FBI. Here's the truth, and here's what's happening.
7 days ago, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced that the Justice Department will not be a political tool, a political weapon. Yet, we have more evidence that the Miami FBI office is just that. So, to Rhino's point, yes, they're saying that they're not going to politicize things, and yet, that's exactly what they're doing. Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. When we continue, get your pen and paper ready. Take some notes on Operation Paperclip when we go and do story time with FOL. Front Office Lows next on Extra 106.3.
Hey, it's Flounder, and The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
Why do the Republicans let the liberals do it? ABC, CNN, NBC do a Candy Crowley, which is what they did last night, and basically let her skate. He didn't have a great performance. Let's put it on him, too.
He screwed up.
But you cannot allow the libs to control the debate, and they do it every time.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Hey, Joe Virgin River and the rest of Atlanta. It's Front Office Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and Kawasaki. As the sports season heats up, make sure that the equipment in your yard is always running at a high level. That's part of what the football season is. That's part of what you have to deal with when you've got lawn equipment. Well, make sure it's running on genuine Kawasaki parts from Howard Brothers. Whether you're tuning up your yard, getting it ready to go for the last part of this season, or, hey, maybe you're just doing some work on the filters. Maybe you're changing out a piece here or there. Well, Kawasaki delivers high performance and reliability when it comes to taking care of your yard equipment. If you've got quality yard equipment, chances are it's got Kawasaki parts that are part of it. This season, keep your machines running strong with Kawasaki parts, because in the game of maintenance, quality is what makes the biggest difference, okay? Quality parts. We're not talking about generic parts. We're talking about Kawasaki parts that keep your equipment running correctly. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Kawasaki and with Howard Brothers.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Extra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the podcast park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
Hi, this is Ben.
And I'm Walt from Horizon Background Screening. I would say the biggest benefit of working with Horizon is that we have people working in every courthouse throughout the country to be able to pull records and help with those background checks. There's probably not going to be anything that you can throw by us that's either going to shock us, surprise us, or that we can't put together to help you. The best way for people to find us is on our website. A quick Google search of Horizon Background Screening, or look at us at horizonscreening.com.
My name is Jamie High, and I have worked for Bruce Hagen for 14 years. Why do I work for Bruce? Because he truly cares. He cares about me, he cares about my family, and he cares about each and every one of his clients. Family is important to him, and he never makes me choose between my family and work. He values me as an employee, but also as a person. At our firm, we are all family, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I am Jamie, and I've worked for Bruce Hagen for 14 years because he's the best. Hagen-law.com.
Principal Support Analyst CSO scope positions offered by Manhattan Associates Incorporated in Atlanta, Georgia. Manage projects to include coordination of all aspects of new customer modifications and rollout from inception to installation. Oversee schedules and budgets to ensure quality products and timely services. Up to 50% travel required. Employee reports to office in Atlanta, Georgia. Position may work from home but must live within commuting distance of stated office. Apply online at www.manh.com/about-us/careers.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
Your voice, your vote. And this year it matters more than ever. So for the unbiased election coverage that affects your family and your community, trust the voices that matter when it matters the most. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Download that app so you can listen live and on demand to the Morning Extra right now or when it's convenient for you. Wherever you get your app, search for XTRA 106.3 FM Atlanta, and you can do that. All right. Get your pencils out. Your number 2 pencils. I need you to get some scratch paper or a notepad. Anyway, however you want to take your notes is just fine. Maybe you'll do it on your phone. I don't know. I'm just telling you, it is time for Story Time with Front Office Lowe's, brought to you by Atlanta Ramjack, your local foundation repair experts. Atlanta Ramjack.com.
Settle in and get comfortable, folks. It's story time with Uncle Los.
Oh, thank you to Joe. Thank you to Rhino. And Tug, thank you to you as well.
You bet.
And thank you, Ramjack, and thank you, America. The year was 1945. It was a simpler time. It was a time that was a bit interesting from the standpoint that we had to choose who were going to be our allies. Now, what we had going on in November of 1945 were the Nuremberg trials. And this was basically putting the Nazi party and the Nazis on trial and deciding, all right, how many of you have committed human rights abuses? How many of you have waged war on this world? And how many of you were going to hang? But the U.S. government kind of had a little bit of a cutout. They said, some of y'all are good at designing rockets. And so we launched a program called Operation Paperclip. Now, if you don't know what Operation Paperclip was, as we got out of World War II, we saw what the use of the Germans had with the V-1 and the V-2 rockets, and we said, we're trying to evolve our own rocket program. We'd like to go to space at some point. Maybe we should take some of these people in the Nazi party and say, all's forgiven. We'll figure it out from here. And so that was what Operation Paperclip was. It was selecting people that we essentially absolved them of their crimes. And again, some of them were just German scientists who were working on rockets. It wasn't like it was part of the war effort. It wasn't meaning that they were sitting there, gassing people in chambers. This is just what they were doing. And so we ended up deciding, all right, we've got to find a place for these people. Obviously we developed the nuclear bomb. We were now trying to move on from that and say, how do we deploy these weapons all around the world? And by the way, how do we get to space? So for instance, like Wernher von Braun was somebody that we brought over that was a prominent rocket maker for the Nazi Party. And we basically told him, we're going to create this agency called NASA. We need you to have a big part in it. And the interesting part about all of this is that when they were trying to settle these Germans, these people that were used to being in this certain part of Germany, we showed them New Mexico, and they're like, Los Alamos? We don't want any part of that. We tried to show them Arizona. We don't want any part of that. It doesn't look like Germany. So what did they do? They ended up deciding, well, what about this area of Alabama where it's very hilly, it's a little mountainous, it's very green, kind of looks like the area of Germany that you guys are used to and you're from. Sure enough, these Nazi scientists decided, yeah, this area looks pretty good. And so what ends up happening from there? Well, you now have, in the state of Alabama, you have a NASA facility. You have what is a space and rocket center.
It's the most affluent area in America, isn't it? That little city, Huntsville?
It's Huntsville, Alabama is one of the areas where between the military, between NASA, and between the medical field, it is one of, considering the size of it, one of the most prominent areas in terms of money. Now, I bring all that up, Tug, to set you up for this. It's different when you bring people into this country that don't have abilities. Now, we did this with Operation Paperclip, but then there's another town in Alabama where they've brought in people that don't have anything in terms of building NASA programs or building rockets or being able to take us to space.
That's Sylacauga, Alabama is the one you're talking about.
There you go.
And there's several small towns. That's just the one that's getting attention now, kind of like Springfield, Ohio had. Now the stuff in Springfield, in Sylacauga is bubbling up. And the other thing, I would take that a step further in the fact that we're going to start using AI for job replacement, right?
Yeah.
The people that load ships or unload ships, that's going to be automated at some point on the coasts, right? And a lot of those unions are up in arms about it. They want to know that their job is going to be there, and we're not going to use this AI. So if it's happening there and it's happening in, let's say, Walmart distribution facilities, so we're bringing in all these people knowing that jobs are going to continue going away. The Democrats have always talked about how we got to replace people, Americans, with people who will do the jobs that Americans won't. Those jobs are going away.
Yeah. But think about the difference. Back in 1945, we imported essentially people from the Nazi Party to help take us to space. Okay,
Yes.
They had that kind of talent that they were able to develop this stuff. And now we're bringing in people that have
no skills
whatsoever.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about also there would be no atomic bombs if we didn't bring in the Germans to help us and get rid of bad things in this world. But we brought them over because it was the best of them, and we actually took it away from the Germans the ability to actually build a nuclear bomb first. I mean, that's what you used to do. You always bring in the best and the brightest, and that's the one thing that gets confused a lot of times is nobody on the Republican side is saying, hey, we don't want people to immigrate here. What we're saying is we want people to immigrate the right way. We want people to become citizens, but you also do have to bring something. As we talk about population, as we talk about not having enough homes for people in this country, what makes any Democrat think that by bringing people here illegally, and now that we found out that they brought another 530,000 people here under the cover of night and illegally as well, why are you allowing them to continue to bring people here that are taking away those homes, that are taking away the jobs, that are taking away your money, that are taking away so many things from the American people, including family members, by killing them, fentanyl overdoses, or just chasing down Laken Riley and killing her in the woods? I mean, these things need to change, and that's why I think Republicans are on the right side of history here.
I just know if you bring in people that you don't have any, I don't want to say use for because that's not right, but if they don't have actionable skills that can propel the nation in the way that they did in World War II, then we're going nowhere. We're spinning our wheels. Jobs are going to be lost, and we won't have a use, we won't have a need. The economy is going to itself, just because of AI, these jobs are going away to begin with, and I think that's something that gets overlooked.
Well, Operation Paperclip was about the enhancement of not just our military might, not just some of our weapons programs, but obviously our space program and our technology programs. It is not at all some sort of hindrance, something bad about society if we're asking you to come here in order to enhance society,
Right.
not
Contribute.
degrade society. And that has been the large difference that's happened. If we want to say that the numbers are 21 million, all right. How many people are contributing to society in a way that enhances rather just filling the holes, filling the gaps in whatever we had available?
Very small amount, I would imagine.
Look, there are a small amount of Americans that are actually filling a gap here or bringing anything to this country.
Do you have
half the left.
Do you have a new neurologist who happens to have just walked across the border a couple of years ago?
Yeah. Sure.
No, I mean,
You're a new heart doctor.
They're talking about like a lot of these people that when it comes to Springfield, because it's been in the news, they're putting kids that are 13, 14, 15 years old way back in classes with 8, 9 years old year olds because they have no education. They aren't able to speak English. They're not able to do basic math. So they're having to start them. So you got 15, 16-year-old kids in classes with 9-year-olds.
It's so weird. Yeah, and again, it's such a strain on the system, and I think it's so important when, people of Springfield stand up and then they start saying, no, listen, you guys all want to play this game, but the truth of the matter is this, it is hurting our kids, it's hurting our families, we don't have a place to stay, we're losing a lot of the things that, we should get help with instead of them. I think that is going to lead the way to people to say, hey, hold on one second. I want to have an opportunity, and you are allowing it to be taken away.
Problem is, Los, this isn't going to change anytime soon.
No,
not without a different administration.
And hopefully we'll get that in November. Bringing people here, allowing people to come here, everybody's in favor of that when they come the right way and when they provide something for the betterment of the country, and we've yet to see that.
You don't understand, Tug. We're not going back.
Right. Well, that's...
No. All of y'all are.
That's right.
Yes. Congratulations.
56% of Americans are in support of mass deportation, and it's understandable why. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3 when we come back. After a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update, Dana, or Dana, however you want to say it, Dana Bash, has created a fun new Kamala Harris drinking game. Oh, I don't even think she meant to do it, but she has. Next.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
So you think the old talkmaster's a pretty good guy, huh? No, not the way I've been thinking lately. I am so proud of and in such admiration of the Israelis for their recent assaults on these Muslim goons who are dedicated to their eradication. Many years ago, perhaps even before you were born, the Israelis set up a little iPhone repair shop in the Gaza Strip. They waited until some Hamas leader came by to get his iPhone fixed. They fixed it. It worked just fine. Oh, yeah, but it had a little explosive device hidden in it. So after Mr. Hamas hotshot came by to get his phone, when he left, they called him. Hello? Boom. Now they've really upped their game. Hezbollah in Lebanon threatening to wipe Israel off the map. Oh, we got to be careful. We better not use our cell phones. Let's get a bunch of pagers. They can't track the pagers. What a brilliant act by the Israelis to intercept those pagers being shipped to Hezbollah and rigging them up so that they'll explode when the signal is sent. Teeth, hair, and eyeballs all over the place. Well, not really teeth, hair, and eyeballs, more like Big Al and the boys. But these Islamic goons thought they were in the clear when they got rid of the bad pagers. Next day, walkie-talkies, radios, simultaneously exploding. Look, Hezbollah has been launching rockets into the heart of Israel with no real understanding where they will fall or who they will kill. And then they dance around and yell Allah Akbar or some nonsense like that, rejoicing in the brilliance of their rocket launch. Then Israel sent them a huge FO message this week. I know, I'm a bad guy. but I'm just enjoying the hell out of this. Nasty Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Madmen. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
Have you considered securing your family's future? Protecting your hard-earned assets, navigating complex legal matters with ease. Nelson Elder Care Law is here to guide and empower you and your loved ones. As a family-owned and family-focused business, our mission is to exceed your expectations, offering absolute assurance and peace of mind. With our trademark Absolute Protection Trust and expertise in customized estate planning, Medicaid crisis solutions, probate administration, guardianship, and conservatorship, Nelson Elder Care Law protects what matters most to you. Imagine a team dedicated to safeguarding your legacy every step of the way. Our flat fees ensure transparency, and our customized plans prioritize your family's specific needs. Are you worried about protecting your family and your legacy after you're gone? Let us help you ensure you're absolutely protected from whatever curveballs life may throw your way. Schedule a complimentary legacy planning meeting with our legal team in Marietta or Woodstock today. Contact us at 678-250-9355 or visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
Well, they're trying to control us, too. They're trying to say, like, we're children, and they can tell us what we can come out of our mouths. Don't let other people tell you what you can say.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
He praised Secret Service again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, for thwarting the second Trump assassination attempt.
We've been going through a lot of it. We're getting very good at it, but I don't want to say that too loudly because we don't want to bring any jinxes along.
The former president last night on Fox's Gutfeld that aired after a big Trump rally, saying encounters with death.
They've only hardened my resolve to use my time on Earth to make America great again.
In Uniondale, New York, the former president vowed to improve the economy and close the border.
It is truly an invasion, and we're not going to let it happen. We're going to take those violent people and we're going to ship them back to their country.
Vice President Harris is critical of that Trump plan.
The largest deportation, a mass deportation in American history. Imagine what that would look like and what that would be.
She addressed the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. The vice president has a 12-point lead among Hispanic voters in a new Fox News poll that also shows more voters by a 10-point margin support Trump immigration policy. Overall, the poll gives Harris a 2-point lead nationally, but she lost out on a labor union endorsement that typically goes Democrat. The Teamsters.
Neither former President Trump nor Vice President Harris will be getting their endorsement. The group polled its own members to get a sense of how they were feeling about the race, with the majority, 59%, saying they were backing Trump over Harris.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. It's up to at least 37 people dead in Lebanon, thousands injured from exploding pagers and walkie-talkies and Israeli sabotage.
Hezbollah has been promising retaliation, and we've seen some rocket fire come over the northern border, some drone fire as well, resulting in some injuries on the Israeli side. But it seems that Israel has been much more aggressive in terms of being offensive this morning. Israel struck at several targets in southern Lebanon.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. And rapper Sean Diddy Combs denied bail again in New York City. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
You may know Bortz is back, but not everyone else does. Tell anyone who loves America, Bortz is back on the radio in Atlanta, and his new home is Extra 106.3. Listen to him now on the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. Big shout out to the folks down in, where is this? They sent me this email, and it is a big Trump caravan, Trump 47 caravan, 10 to 11, and it is put on by the Fayette County Republican Party, so down in Fayetteville. And they are asking folks to decorate their car, truck, trailer, motorcycle, show your support for Donald Trump, meeting there at 9:30 in the Breland Village Crosstown Drive PTC, which is the old Kmart parking lot, rolling out at 10 a.m. sharp. So if you're interested, you can reach out to them, trump@myfayettegop.org, trump@myfayettegop.org. Should be a fun day. And then from 1 until 3 there at Falcon Field, they're going to just do a big old shindig, a little party, and they'll have a keynote speaker, Brian Jack, Republican Congress or candidate for Congress, one of Trump's most trusted allies. Been working on Trump's side for the last 8 years. To make America great again. There you go. Absolutely. Concert by Fayetteville native Adam Grant, too, so a whole lot going on there. Y'all have fun down there. That's going to be a good day, I think.
Yeah.
I hope everybody will show up. If you're listening down in Fayetteville, hit us at 404-741-1230 and let us know if you're going. Let us know if you're attending. Let us know how many people you expect, because if it's anything like New York, goodness gracious, that was a heck of a lot of people up there.
I mean, I'm not going to say 60,000 won't show up to Fayette, but hey, let's try to get 60,000 in there. That'd be great. I'd love to see a beautiful caravan like that on Trump 40. I wish I could get down there tomorrow. That'd be a lot of fun.
A few thousand would be great, I think.
I think you should go down there, Tug, and get just hammered drunk.
Yeah. I think you should
George is off this weekend.
Just bring a lawn chair.
What are you doing this weekend?
George is off this weekend.
Is he asleep over there? Is he dead?
Okay.
Listen, I'd have Laura drive the truck. You get a nice cowboy hat on, some American flag overalls, and some beers, and sit in the lawn chair in the back of the truck and just wave to people with your Trump flag.
How you doing?
How are you? You take the flag behind you right there, too.
That's a big one.
Take that one with you.
Absolutely. That one's a fancy one because it's got the fringe, the fray on the back, whatever.
Yeah.
They put that at I know my church. Every
It's
every
like the
church
Boy Scout flag.
Yes, in church they always have that one with the it's decorative, I think is what that is. That fringe?
I wonder where that became from. Yeah, that's fringe, right?
I don't know where it came from, to be honest with you. I'm just glad it's here.
Let's ask the guy with the testerone level of an 80-year-old woman. Joe, is that called fringe?
It is.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Called fringe.
He's got some jackets with that on there.
Sure does.
Joey does.
Jean jackets.
Yes,
they're cut
absolutely.
Jean jacket.
8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. Before we get to the Dana Bash drinking game.
Dana Bash.
Well, because I don't. It's spelled Dana. But
it's Dana, but then it was Dana.
I don't really know.
It's all very curious.
I'm not 100% sure. The one thing I can tell you is last night and I stayed up too late. I don't typically watch Gutfeld. I enjoy him. I think he's really smart. I think he's really witty. He was kicking everybody's tail in late night, and then they moved him an hour earlier, and he's kicking everybody's tail there too. He had Donald Trump on the show, and it was so funny. I want to play a clip from the show, and it was basically them talking about how the Walls family is going to vote for Donald Trump, and Barack Obama's brother is going to vote for Donald Trump. And then they get into the fact of this story about Tim Walz reaching out to Donald Trump and one of his fears. But Tyrus starts this clip with a nice home run, if you will, when he talks. What's that? I want I want to hear the. Or did you edit it on me? Why would you do that?
Why
That's
did you
crazy.
do that?
Hold on.
Oh, you're in trouble.
Tug went ahead and edited it the way he wanted, and then you went back and edited some more.
Oh, come on now. You asked me
False.
to.
False. Yeah, offsides. If I could throw a flag on you right now, Joe, I'd throw a flag on you.
I don't recall asking you to edit that part because that's the key part of the conversation.
That's the home run.
But that's all right. Anyway, we'll move on. They basically there was a lot of brothers going to be voting for you, and that's
the way he made the point.
Absolutely, and it was so good.
Okay, it's good now.
Well, we don't need it now since we've already.
Go
done
ahead.
it.
You know what?
Play
You
it.
built it in.
Barack Hussein Obama's brother is supporting Trump. This Governor Walz, his brother and his whole family is supporting him. In fact, they want to make contributions to my campaign.
Well, to be fair, a lot of brothers are supporting President Trump.
So good. And then they go on to talk about this story about Walz specifically.
That's what we do over here.
It is funny. Waltz is a strange dude.
Oh, he's strange.
He is strange. Him and I are the same age. How does he look so much younger?
No, he's a strange guy.
Strange.
You know, he called up years ago. I was in the White House, and he said, my house is being surrounded by people with American flags. I said, is that a good thing or a bad thing? He said, I think they're going to attack me. This was during the riots and everything else. They were MAGA people. You know, they like the American flag, all right? And they also like Trump. And I said, how do you know? There were about 15,000, he said. He said, could you put out a word like that I'm your friend? I don't even know him, but that's the only time I ever spoke to him. And if you look back long ago, tweets, before Truth, tweets, long ago, I put out a statement. He's a good man, the governor. He's on our side. I didn't know him, but I didn't want him to get hurt. And everybody put down their flags and they left. He said it was America.
They had the American flag, and Tim Walz, a guy that served in the military, is scared of people with American flags. The most confusing thing I've ever heard, and Trump nails the story as he always does.
If you had not abused those people, because that was what happened with people from Minnesota. They felt, and by the time you got around to the whole George Floyd era, there was these competing factions of, here are the regular Americans that felt like they were abused by their government, and then you had all the crazy people, and they were both fighting for basically that entire state.
Oh, you did. I'm surprised. I mean, he called the president on his neighbors. Basically, is what he did.
Absolutely.
Talking about being a neighborly guy. Like, hey, President, a bunch of my neighbors are here with American flags. What do I do? You live in America, dummy. I know you hate this country, and I know you'd rather be in China. I know you would have felt more comfortable with Chinese flags all around you because, well, that's where all your interests are, and, well, you like the way that they control their people, so why not? But the reality is that I think people in Minnesota are tired of them, like real people, Americans. Yeah, the people that care, not the ones that, want a prayer to call 5 times a day there. They love him because they love the fact that he just kind of poops on America. But I find that, very, very, I buy it. I believe Donald Trump when he says that. I don't think he's making up this story because we've already seen this man turn on his neighbors.
Well, 2 summers ago, we were in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and it was a really cool town, very chill. But then you would every now and then walk up on the areas that had been burnt out. Yeah. And we were there with somebody who was a native. She was one of our volleyball coaches, and she flat out made the point to us. She was like, it was better several years ago. She's like, it has been on a downward slide in part because of who's running this thing.
Yeah, how could it not be?
And so it was, everywhere we went, there was always just this little reminder of, hey, everything's really cool and people are pretty friendly, but this could be so much more.
There is a corner store that's
Tim
still
Walz
burned down.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I went in 1998. I went to Minnesota to watch the Falcons dismantle the Vikings. What a wonderful time I had there. And then I went back playing in the softball World Series when this transformation has become what it is today. And it is a completely different city. It's not the same. It was a beautiful city. It's a fun city to walk around. People there, obviously, a Midwest, are very, very nice and very opening. And then when I went the second time, it's the only time I've been threatened more in my life. And I didn't do anything but walk the streets. Like, I didn't even say anything. I'm not wearing a Trump hat. I'm just somebody who was from the outside who was getting attacked every I was scared for the first time in my life. I was scared walking down the streets.
It was interesting that we saw so many people that were kind of in a fentanyl sleep on the ground. Same thing that we saw in Philadelphia last summer. You recognize what's going on in American cities is that they continue to be managed in this way. And so there is a real difference when you say, hey, we want to have a separation of what's going on in our societies. And the way that you're living in your particular metropolitan area is not the way that I want to live in my suburban area.
It's funny. There was something else that was said, and we don't have the cut, but I'll just summarize it for you before we get to the Dana Bash drinking game. Trump said something that stood out to me as a man is faithful and a gun owner. And he said, if gun owners and evangelicals voted it near even to majority levels then there would be no question about who's going to win this election. Now, I know Kamala and Tim Walz are gun owners.
I don't think they know what a gun is, to be honest.
They wouldn't know which way
Maybe
to
they
shoot.
got confused.
They wouldn't be able to load it. They wouldn't be able to take it apart to clean it. They wouldn't be able to do any of those things. Yeah, because that's just a statement, and nobody's going to fact check them.
Yeah.
Where's your gun?
Yeah.
Where do you keep those?
I would have asked. I would have asked the first time, and I'd be like, "Oh, really? What kind of gun do you have?"
They
Like,
would
let's put you
never
on the
do
spot.
that. They would never do that.
Oh, they wouldn't fact check their candidate?
Never, ever.
ABC, no.
In a million years, they would never do that. But I do find it to be, I don't know, as a person who's a faithful, again, evangelical, I guess you could call me, and a gun owner, that the people that love this country more than anything else and cherish the Second Amendment because it protects the First Amendment, the most important, the ones that the Democrats are very, very against and have been vocal about their disdain for the First Amendment. So the two people that could change this election aren't voting, and I encourage people to do that.
Yeah.
If you're a Christian, and I'm not trying to make this politics and blending religion, but I do believe in right and wrong. If you're a Christian, go vote. Go vote. If you're a gun owner, go vote. Your vote matters, and everything that happens moving forward for your kids and grandkids will hinge on elections.
If you love God and if you love your freedom, why would you vote? And if you love your country, why would you vote for the group that hates God and has attacked religion and hates guns and hates this country? Like, I don't understand what you would be thinking in that manner. So when you say, I hate to bring church and state together, the reality is the state is attacking church. They're attacking Jews. We watch as Jews can't even go to class anymore. And that is just out in our face. But what about what's happening to our churches and Catholics and Christianity? They're the number one target of Democrats right now. They go after them. What do you think the entire abortion thing is about? They're going after the church. They find any way to antagonize the church or Catholicism or Christianity or any kind of religion.
Normally, when we broad brush anything, I'm bothered. I'm not by that. Because the communists, the first and foremost, the thing they're trying to do is remove religion from society.
Absolutely.
And it's gotten more prevalent throughout the entirety of the Democrat Party. It used to be, it was a handful where you said, okay, I see what they're trying to do. But now it's become the mainstream.
It is. Very much so. Government is God to
where
them.
Government is God to them, and the idea that you have any sort of faith and any sort of belief in a higher power, that somehow there's something wrong with you, that you're handicapped mentally in some way. It all feeds into the same idea, and what all communists do is that once they assume power, they remove all religious icons. That's part of just what they do.
That's what's happening in Ukraine.
Yep.
They've essentially outlawed Christianity, and they've suspended elections. So much for democracy and so much for freedom of speech.
Well, 30 years ago, it was like nativity scenes. Like 30 years ago, it started small.
Yeah.
It started with like, oh, you can't put that in front of the firehouse, and now it's just turned into everything everywhere.
Kamala Harris said you're not allowed to say Merry Christmas. You should be you are disgusting if you say Merry Christmas when we have a bunch of illegal aliens who have come over here. Like, I don't even understand what that means except for an attack on Christmas and an attack on Christianity, and it never stops. In fact, Governor Andy Beshear in Kentucky, you know what he did? He signed a bill to attack Christianity and conversion therapy is what they call it, but still allows kids to be massacred by their parents and have them cut off parts of their body, but says he's protecting children by not allowing them to go to church and have some of these, they call them conversion therapy. I don't know what the religious term for having people come in and learn about life and love and happiness. Yeah, counseling. Thank you. That's a much better word. So that's the attack that they always do, though. They always want to take away any kind of religious right. And the minute you pick up the Bible, it's I mean, who are the ones that come and go, you know what, I'd rather be sworn in on a Superman comic book?
Yeah.
It's not the right.
Silly. It's what it is. I was surprised when Dana Bash decided she was going to create a drinking game out of Kamala Harris sound bites pieces of interviews, because she don't do many, and she brought it up actually on her show. This was, I mean, you could have knocked me over with a feather.
When you listen to Kamala Harris and what she will do, you can almost start a drinking game every time she says small businesses. Let me give you an example.
Part of my plan under my economic opportunity plan going forward is that right now, startup entrepreneurs, small businesses only get a tax deduction of $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. So I'm expanding that to $50,000. Understanding, again, that when people have the opportunity to have the resources to get started, they're going to put the good ideas, they're going to put the hard work into it.
Describe the politics of that.
2 shots would have been taken right there.
Yeah, let's go.
But
look,
if
you want to get really drunk, just go with the I'm a middle class.
Right. Now, because Tim
middle
Walz has
class,
even
that's
jumped
the
in on
word
it.
right there.
But are y'all surprised, though, when you see CNN or Dana Bash do stuff like this? Because I am. I can't figure out what she's doing it for. What is the benefit? Because
I'll tell you why.
She's a leftist, and there's... please, because it's
she's telling you to pay attention to small business because she is helping Kamala Harris in that regard by saying she is talking about policy, small business. Do a drinking game. Every time you hear small business, that's who she's going to fight for. That's what she's trying to program into your head.
That makes sense. Because
she's not actually going against the narrative that she set by having a fake interview with her.
No, that's good, man. And I'm glad you said it because I was confused. I listened to it over and over and over. And then I listened to the guy that she was interviewing who made no sense, talked in circles, kind of like Kamala does, and made no sense of it. But look, I'm willing to do a drinking game for just about anything.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of word salads and things that Kamala has given you that you could play a drinking game with and have a lot of fun with. But yeah, that was her way of trying to make you pay attention to words that she thinks is important.
There we go.
She wants you to think small business, $50,000, you're going to get it in your pocket. This is a pander because you'll never get $50,000 from the federal government that overtaxes you. So pay attention. But I will tell you this, if Kamala Harris does win and that does go into effect, guys, I am starting a small business and getting my $50,000 right away.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
Oh, you'll get another beautiful Italian pizza place, New York Italian.
There we go. That's what we need, man.
Or a gun store just to really get them mad.
Or what if you did pizza place and gun store, like one-stop shop?
Yeah.
You got pizza.
Yeah.
And
Get
a
your
9mm.
Yeah. That's right.
You can protect your family.
Shoot
and
3 pepperonis on the back wall, you get a pizza for free.
Yeah, there you go. You protect.
Shut up and take my money.
That's right. You'd have a line out the door for sure. Protect your family and feed them all in the same place. It's Rhino's Pizzeria and Gun Store. I'm telling you, there's something there. We need T-shirts. We got to get this thing going. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. We'll knock out the headlines when we come back. And Trump said almost every economic issue that the U.S. economy is struggling with can be solved by fixing one thing.
Democrat men.
I don't think that's
Cut it. Snip it.
I don't think that's
we
it.
all have no problems.
Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
Atlanta radio legends, proud military vets, national network experts are all on Extra 106.3.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months.
With live and local shows in the morning and afternoon, and the biggest conservative hosts in the country throughout the day. We are always here with the latest news and opinions you need.
There's no chance if the media and the Department of Justice and social media are all against you.
No traffic interruptions, no former shock jocks, just Atlanta legends you've turned to for a generation. The conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Come hang out with me this weekend, please. I would love to see you guys. I'm going over to True Prep. They say they have a special guest, but then I found out it was me, so whatever. But I would love to see you either way. One of the great parts, don't come to see me. Come to get the free food, the free giveaways. I'm giving away, listen to this, 2 Glock 43s. That's right, 2 Glock 43s, the MOS. I can't wait to give them away, and I hope that one of you are the winners. Come down to True Prep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway for their anniversary sale. That's right. It's a huge sale. If you haven't started prepping, now's the time. And with some of these prices that they've got going on, and they're good all weekend long, you need to come by and check everything out. I was looking at some of the great things they've got, some accessories for your weapons, some magazines, really great prices, ammo at some unbelievable prices. Plus, they got some really cool vendor exhibits coming out. These guys will give you information on new products. Plus, they're giving away up to $5,000 worth of free giveaways. So come out, and their hot dogs are pretty cool, too. Come out, visit me in Marriott on Cobb Parkway. True Prep, your one-stop shop for preparedness supplies. I want you to go in, get your freeze-dried food. I want you to make sure that you're safe and get your water filtration, your first aid kits, your firearm, your accessories, your ammo. And I want you to do it at a locally owned and operated place. True Prep, Marriott, Cobb Parkway. Come out this weekend starting at 10 a.m. when the doors open and the sales begin, and come out and hang out with me and everybody over at True Prep. Go right now online and you can see all the things they got planned at trueprep.com. That's TRU prep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
Oh man, look at my backyard. Looks like a tornado met a hurricane in a desert. I'm going to tell her to turf off.
Or maybe you'd rather turf on with ATL Turf Co., the Southeast leading turf installer. Whether you'd like a new football field, putting green, or have us create the perfect maintenance-free backyard of your dreams, find ATLTurfCo.com. Make your yard great again. Visit ATLTurfCo.com and see what we've created for customers like you in the Southeast. ATLTurfCo.com. And no more yard cackling.
The future of business in Georgia is bright, and Georgia Power is a driving force behind the businesses and organizations that are vital to the growth of the state. Just ask Mike Plant, President and CEO of the Braves Development Company.
I think back about 2003 when I started with the Braves, and I just knew we had to create a destination that people wanted to come to year-round. We had a blank canvas, and I think we had a pretty good feel for what would be a year-round destination, mixed-use development, lifestyle center, all those. Fortunately, we have this incredible relationship long-term with Georgia Power. Right away, they saw our vision, they got our vision, they understood it, and knew they needed to be a big part of that. So we're running our daily operation at the same time we're building this massive infrastructure and mixed-use development and the ballpark all at the same time.
To learn more about how Georgia Power is helping businesses big and small, visit GeorgiaPower.com and tune in all year to discover how they're powering the future of Georgia.
If you notice any cracks in your foundation, they are not going to go away. They need to be addressed as soon as possible to reduce additional costs that come with repair. Ramjack is the best company in the industry for repairing your foundation. We have the highest quality products in the nation. So, if you are experiencing foundation problems, please contact us at ramjack.com/Atlanta or call us at 770-502-8881. That's 770-502-8881. You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
This time of year, there are two things you can't stop: the leaves falling off the trees and the prices falling at Solomon Brothers Jewelers. If you are planning a fall wedding, birthday, or anniversary, there's never been a better time to visit Solomon Brothers Jewelers. Percentage Week is back for 1 week only, September 16th through the 22nd. This is your chance to save up to 60% off on engagement rings, wedding bands, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, and more. Everything in all three of our showrooms will be discounted up to 60% off. Now is the best time to save on the engagement ring and wedding bands of your dreams. Choose from all of the top designers in the industry, or say I love you with a beautiful pair of diamond earrings or a tennis bracelet. Remember, no matter the price, you'll find something nice at Solomon Brothers. So visit us for Percentage Week, September 16th through the 22nd, going on in all three of our showrooms in Buckhead, Alpharetta, and Sharpsburg, or online at SolomonBrothers.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Thursday, September 19th. Georgia Pacific officials say they are looking to redevelop their building on Peachtree Street that has been a part of the Atlanta skyline for years. Company officials say they want to reimagine the entire city block and renovate the building with plans to bring in restaurants, new offices, greenhouses and outdoor areas. They hope to start construction next year and finish by 2027. The company has not released their funding plans. Darius Deshaun Woods and Brittany Hall were both found shot to death after a massive fire destroyed their home in DeKalb County. The bodies were discovered after DeKalb County firefighters extinguished the deadly blaze. An arrest has been made in Meriden, Mississippi, but the DeKalb County Police Department has not released the suspect's name or any details surrounding the case. And in sports, the Atlanta Braves stayed within 2 games of the New York Mets for the final National League wildcard spot with a 7-1 win over the Cincinnati Reds last night. Marcell Ozuna homered and Gio Urshela drove in 3 runs in the win. The Braves and Reds will close out their 3-game series this afternoon with Chris Sale on the mound for the Braves. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
You got an extra $600 laying around?
No. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
Just kidding.
Most people, most people.
I got 249.
Yeah, most people don't have $600. 249 is something that you can. A lot of people can do that, especially if you're going on a golf outing, and a lot of times those cost $249 in and of themselves. What if we told you 6 different golf courses for $249 with a golf cart?
I'd say sign me up.
Absolutely. Go get it.
Better than getting a pistol and a gun.
Well,
Pepperoni pizza.
I got to tell you, it ain't that good.
No?
It's good, but it ain't that good.
It's a great deal, though.
I'll take it is a good deal, but I'll take the pizza and the 9mm first. However, if you're a golfer, Cherokee Run Golf Club, Country Club of Gwinnett, Heritage Links, Mystery Valley Golf Club, Sequoia National, Stone Mountain Golf Club are all available. You can play these courses, 6 of them, card included, $249. Get your golf green card at extra1063.com.
How cool would it be to get like 8 of your buddies? Because I've done this before where I got 8 buddies and we decided, hey, here are a bunch of courses throughout the area and, let's do them in an entire, few days. And I think that's just a great plan. Like, get 8 of your buddies together and do it quick because they're running out.
Yeah, it's only got like 30
Yeah,
left.
and then do that because I'll tell you, Sequoia National to go up there. Then you get also Harrah's Cherokee Casino. You're close to that. I mean, what a great trip that would be.
You just
have this pass.
Into it.
Yeah.
It's maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles from the casino.
Yeah,
I played it a couple years ago. It's a great course, too.
It's a great course. And then when you look at some of the other, Stone Mountain's a beautiful course. I mean, this would be a fun thing to do with some of your buddies.
I suck at golf, but I would love to go and hang out. It's just I'll be the DJ on the golf cart. I'll pick up the drinks and stuff.
You're playing on a mountain.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's
really cool.
The views, man, I'm in. So
and like right now,
with
the leaves turning, it's a beautiful course.
It's a really
all of them are. Look, Mystery Valley's a really fun course, a great course as well. Heritage, they've done some work on that course, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's a great thing to do with some of your buddies, man.
Extra1063.com. Get your green card now. 6 courses, cart included, $249. It will save you quite a bit. 59% discount. Like I said, there's about 33 of those left of the 200 that we started with recently. So do yourself a favor. Get one and get it now. Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. AJC, they're polling. Well, they have presented it in a peculiar way, Rhino.
Gosh, do they? Look, here's the funny part about what they did. And the AJC came out and they gave you a poll that said Kamala Harris is now just moving forward and she's going to win and she's got a good. And then you look and go, wait, who actually still subscribes or listens to the AJC or actually takes a phone call? Look, if AJC comes up on my phone, which it does because they come after me all the time like, hey, renew. I'm like, no. I don't think they're answering it. And that's what showed in their own poll, because what they did was after they released a poll that said Kamala Harris is going to win, then they come out with the Eternals and go, wait, Kamala Harris might have a problem here because black men in the city of Atlanta don't want to vote for her. That is one of the funny things that I saw. And when you start to look at the numbers of, remember what happened in 2020. Look at the people that, they had involved in this election, and you go 90% of, blacks, or I think it was more here, I think it was 97%, say that they were going to vote for Joe Biden in 2020. Now she has only 86% of Democrats. That's Democrats. She doesn't even have 90% of Democrats anymore, and 70% of the black voters instead of 96. That's a big loss here in the state.
Well, the numbers, and again, the AJC will pass this off as this is a very tight race. Well, he's ahead by 3 points. the numbers that should be overwhelmingly concerning is when you focus on black men age 18 to 49. They're the ones that are not turning up for
quarter.
Mm-hmm.
1/4. One out of four are saying we are voting.
have no interest in her.
And we are voting. They're vocal about voting for Donald Trump. You heard Tyrus. We played that cut from Gutfeld last night. There's a lot of brothers voting for Donald Trump, and he brought it up. And I thought it was maybe the best moment of the entire evening. There was a lot that went on well at Gutfeld, but that was the one that stood out to me.
Yeah.
She has major problems with men in general.
With men in general. But see, that's the one thing about this. This isn't black men. This is black voters. She's only got 77% of black voters in Georgia.
That's a problem.
That's a huge problem for them because that's 10 points lower than what they normally get.
Typically, they got to carry about 88 to 92%.
Yeah, and 12% say they're still undecided. You know what that tells me? They don't want to tell them they're not voting for Kamala Harris. They're either not going to show up, so that means she's going to lose even more of a percentage. But if those 12% were like, hey, I'm just not going to tell you this, but I'm probably going to go vote for Trump, that's a bigger loss for them. They will get crushed if these numbers are true through the AJC poll.
What is shocking to anyone who's observing this is the Joe Virgin Rivers of the world. When you talk about all ages, men and women, 18 to 29 within this poll, Kamala Harris is only getting 46%. Donald Trump's getting more than that. And so that is that direct effect of that economy where these people are looking to start their lives, get married, buy a home, kind of live that American dream. And it has not been available to them in part because of the economic conditions that they're currently living under.
Wall Street Journal says the majority of Americans say the American dream is not even a possibility anymore. We all want to have a house. We all want to work hard and have it pay off. But that seems to be a thing of the past. Home ownership, just like you brought up, seems impossible. To anybody that don't have a home right now, the likelihood of being able to buy one of those homes is just out of reach.
Yeah.
Joe's an example of it. And the kids that are on my son's baseball team, they're talking about it. I mean, they're 20 years old, and they're talking about it going, do you think we'll ever be able to do the things that our parents do?
Yeah.
My son brought it up to me. He said that was a conversation that they all had sitting there watching the debate together. And he said there was probably 12 kids from the baseball team sitting there, and they were discussing. I was blown away that 20-year-olds were having that conversation.
I told you guys when I was in Atlanta for the Trump rally, the one group that I saw more than anyone else that I was really surprised about was not only, black voters and Hispanic voters, but the frat boys and the sorority sisters that showed up. And this was cool to them now, where it never was. Those were groups that used to sit out. And I'm telling you, it's going to change the race, not just here, but all over the Southeast more than anything else. Colleges have been attacked long enough, and men have been attacked long enough. And toxic masculinity, the catchphrase of the Democrat Party, doesn't register well with sorority sisters and women who are looking for men that not only are going through college, but also are looking to have a home, looking to have a family, and looking to grow. They are going to turn out at these races where they usually didn't, and I think it's going to be a big number. And I don't think Kamala Harris stands a chance in a lot of these southern cities.
The issue that you run into within this polling, because we know what happens when you have, for instance, the crosstabs are basically household income under $25,000. The very young people, they tend to vote Democrat, and in this poll, it's 65% for Kamala Harris. What happens is that when you get to the crosstab of $150,000 or more in household income, where typically the Democrats do well, she's ahead by 1 point. It's basically people looking at it and saying, here's my household income, and I know things aren't that great.
Yeah, that's right.
44, 43.
Because what I used to be able to afford, I can no longer afford.
Yeah.
And you have these kids who want to start a family that one of you guys just brought up, that you said, and that's true. And that's so important, I think. And I think it bears out in any polling and any economic professor or economist would look at the importance of families in the United States of America actually populating the country. Mm-hmm. And nobody feels like they can. Nobody. I mean, there's a reason that families are having one child, because that's all they can afford. And it's been that way for the last 3 years, almost 4 years. None of that is going to change unless we have a change in the White House. You can't go the same course and expect something to be different, because it's just not going to happen.
No.
And then Let's talk about why some of these things are unaffordable. Rhino had said it from the minute that Joe Biden was sworn in, when he signed away our energy independence. He has been on the cutting edge of this. He has led this charge, and Donald Trump addressed it specifically.
How are you going to bring down the cost of food and groceries?
Good. Very good. Thank you. So we have to start always with energy. Always. I don't want to be boring about it, but there's no bigger subject. It covers everything. If you make donuts, if you make cars, whatever you make, energy is a big deal. And we're going to get that. It's my ambition to get your energy bill within 12 months down 50%. If I can do that, you've done a hell of a job. 5-0, not 15, 50.
Yeah, you've done a hell of a job. Is exactly right. But it comes down to energy. It's always been that.
Well, okay, we talk about supply chain. What do they need to get that supply around the country? Energy. What do we need to make 90% of our products? Petroleum and energy. So energy is the new gold, right? I mean, when we look at it and we talk about energy, that's the main thing that the entire world needs to feed off of, and it's energy. And we can dominate that. We can sell it. We wouldn't have the problems we have in Iran and everywhere else if we were still dominating that industry. But it also does return everything to how products are made. Even the stupid Just for Oil t-shirts they made, they're made with the dyes from petroleum. They're made with the plastics from petroleum. That's what is so important about energy.
Part of what goes on when it comes to the energy market is speculation. It's what do you expect to happen in the near future or the soon-to-be future? And if we just take an aggressive stance in terms of federal lands, private lands, everywhere else, it's all wide open. And that's what I believe that he's basically planning on. Then you're going to see the energy markets adjust accordingly. It doesn't mean that you have to be turning out suddenly, hey, we got 1 million more barrels a day. It's more of, here's the direction it's going. It's going to affect your pricing.
No doubt about it. And then on top of that, look at what the Chinese are doing. Mm-hmm. The Chinese are building coal-fired plants 2 a week and have for the last 3 years. This is the biggest producer of solar technology. Unfortunately, it's stolen from the United States, and we handed a lot of it over to them. But regardless, when you hear these Democrat politicians talk about how important solar is and how important green energy is, so-called green energy, because we know it's not green energy, but they talk about it. The number one producer of all those products are building 2 coal-fired plants a week and have for the last 3 or 4 years. I wonder why. Energy is why. Yeah. They know that the other stuff's not reliable. Is it useful? Yeah. Is there a place for it? Sure. But if you are squandering your energy that is under your feet, you are making a grave mistake.
And, you know, the other thing about energy and what the Harris, they don't know how to broker our energy. They're not selling. So when they talk about, hey, we've got 13 million barrels produced, why isn't it being delivered to the market? Why aren't our gas prices? You don't know how to handle energy. You're not selling it. You're not moving it. You're not refining it. You're not doing anything to help the American people when it comes to the amount of energy we have the ability to produce.
Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hour, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. When we come back, cultural rot is being imported into America. It's not only Springfield, Ohio. It's actually near to you and I. Next on Extra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Kamala Harris sees an end to right to work. No private sector worker will be allowed to avoid union membership and union dues if that's what the majority of his co-workers want.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
When you pull up to the house, do you go, man, that's my house. It's the best looking house in the neighborhood. It's the envy of the neighborhood. When other people pull up to your house, do they get out of the car and go, oh my gosh, I wish my house looked like this. I wish we could do some of the things that y'all have done and make our house the envy of our cul-de-sac. Let me tell you how to get it done. With fall being here, now's the time to start thinking about upgrading those windows at your house. Let me tell you, the aesthetic of window upgrade is one thing, but more importantly, energy efficiency is another. They can do windows, they can do doors at Southern Exteriors. And it doesn't matter if it's elegant entry doors like the double doors, that are so popular right now that look so amazing. Or maybe on the backside of the house, those durable patio doors. They've got the perfect fit for your home. Plus, you can take advantage of 0% interest with no payments for up to 6 months. That's Southern Exteriors. That's the way they do business. They'll look you in the eye. They'll shake your hand and do exactly what they say they're going to do. On-site foreman to make sure that there's nothing falling between the cracks. Call Southern Exteriors today, 877-9-SOUTHERN, 877-9-SOUTHERN. Or go to their website, southernexteriors.co. Make a note. It is southernexteriors.co. Southern Exteriors, quality and precision you can rely on.
As an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, the Warrior Alliance connects warriors and their families to free services such as health and wellness, housing, employment, education, legal services, and so much more. We need your financial support to increase our impact and change thousands of lives for those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It takes more than just thank you for your service. Make a donation to help warriors navigate to success after service. Go to thewarrioralliance.org/donate and make a difference today.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
My name is Jamie High, and I have worked for Bruce Hagen for 14 years. Why do I work for Bruce? Because he truly cares. He cares about me, he cares about my family, and he cares about each and every one of his clients. Family is important to him, and he never makes me choose between my family and work. He values me as an employee, but also as a person. At our firm, we are all family, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I am Jamie, and I've worked for Bruce Hagen for 14 years because he's the best. Hagen-law.com.
This fall, the gridiron calls, which means you'll be road tripping to games across the South, and you'll need a reliable ride to get you there. And Subaru of Gwinnett has the vehicle for you. But a new car, truck, or SUV from Subaru of Gwinnett is about way more than just getting to the games. It's about getting the family home. It's about getting to work safely, but it's also about getting the most out of every adventure. If you're driven by an adventurous heart, the 2025 Subaru Outback shares your spirit with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 32 miles per gallon. Or maybe it's the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester. It holds the road with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, and it holds everything you need for the tailgate. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com and let your adventurous mind run wild. Then stop in for a test drive on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
The Morning Xtra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, The Kimmer Show, Jesse Kelly, Jimmy Vela, and Guy Benson. The biggest lineup of conservative voices in the South are on Xtra 106.3 FM and the Xtra 106.3 app.
I saw a pastor at a predominantly black church bringing up the strategy of speaking about animals being eaten in Springfield. He said, in the beginning, I didn't understand it, and I wish he hadn't said it. And then when I realized the strategy to bring attention to the cultural rot that was happening in that small community, I then realized, oh my gosh, this is an important discussion to have. And this is not just about Springfield, Ohio. It's about many small towns and a lot that are near to you and I. There are folks in Sylacauga, Alabama, that are fed up with the same kind of things that are happening in their small town that are happening in Springfield, Ohio. I want you to hear from this man who spoke in front of the city council there in Sylacauga, and he was speaking his mind.
Non-respectable speech is still protected speech, and this is a public forum, so we have every right to say what we have in our opinion, in our minds and our opinions while we're here. Stating that, I wanted to ask you guys, I hope you guys don't want to play dumb about it, but a lot of people in Sylacauga and the surrounding area are concerned about the migrant influx that we're seeing and how that's going to change our way of life. Maybe you don't live in town. Maybe you guys live in a nice neighborhood. Maybe the money is that great. I would like to know how much money you're getting from the federal government to ignore this problem or be complicit and enable it, because either way it's happening. And it's not happening against your knowledge. It's obviously happening in your city, so you know what's going on. And you wanted to shut down the meeting last time, which means we're going to talk about it this time and hopefully not shut down the meeting, because we have the freedom to speak in this country. And I wouldn't be here unless I saw that, but I found that very disrespectful and very much against our human rights here in this country. And also, with the influx of these migrants, it's against my human right to be trampled on and to have my economy and my housing prices skyrocket because of federal housing vouchers are going to raise the cost of housing in my city due to the influx of migrants, okay? Because we all know how that works. A landlord, all they have to do is just tell the feds that it's $5,000 a month for this little old one-bedroom apartment or whatever, and it's really only, $800 a month? But at the same time, we're getting their money from the federal government. It's raising prices on everything else around us in the community. It's hurting us. It's raising tax values on properties. And it's not people coming in with a whole bunch of money that want to spend money in Sylacauga and boost the economy. It's people that are coming here. They're not like immigrants of the past, all right? They're immigrants that are coming in here and getting free houses, free phones, free health care, and not having to do a damn thing for it.
This is the concern of small town America. It is so valid. And I'm at a loss to figure out why city councils and county commissions are willing to let it happen. It has to be what he said. Y'all are getting your hands greased.
Tax dollars flowing into your community.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Because when you look at Buckhead, remember what the whole fight over Buckhead City was, is when you are perceived to be doing better than everyone else, when they bring these illegals in and they have to take care of them, where do they get the money? Well, they do it through property taxes, and they raise the millstead rates and all the millage rates. They do a lot of things that hurt those people in order to take care of someone else. I'm surprised that Gwinnett, Norcross, those areas aren't stepping up as well. We know that the illegal immigrants are there. We've had two of the biggest busts in the country when it came to fentanyl being out of Norcross storage units. We millions and millions of dollars worth of drugs, and we see it every single day. We are being overrun, whether it's Alabama, Springfield, Georgia, New York.
Coast to coast, man.
It's coast to coast. In every state has become a border state, and they're flying them all over, and they're making sure they put them in these to affect those cities.
Oh, keep in mind, this is not so much about people that are coming across the border and entering illegally and then dispersing throughout the country.
Right.
These are the people that the Biden administration are bringing in and then deciding where they're going to be at. And so when you think about it, the immigration system, as much as it is messed up, the idea of American immigration is that we're going to find people that are of an addition to society and then have them assimilate to society. You're not asking people to assimilate if you're bringing them in and basically saying, we're going to take care of everything for you. You do your thing here.
That's a cuss word, assimilation. You can't say that.
Oh my God, I can't believe
how could you
say that word that you would become a part of the fabric of the greatest society that we've had.
Yeah, which is the reason you want to come here to
is
begin
that?
with. But that's the thing. Refugees, they get as they're called, refugees, illegals, whatever you want to call them, because most of us, I would contend
but let me just draw a quick line here. Like what's going on in Springfield, those aren't illegals. Except the problem is they're brought in and we're stretching our laws.
Well, right. Humanitarian.
Yes.
What is it called? Humanitarian. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, and so the problem is that they have this legal status, and so they're getting all of this taxpayer-funded stuff, and because of that, it is then messing with the regular economies that are going on in these small towns.
And that's what they've done. And look at the towns that they're going to. Alabama, a red state. Springfield, Ohio. What did they overwhelmingly go for?
Red.
So what they're trying to do is they're trying to give them paydays in order to change the color of that state to either purple or blue. Even White Plains, New York, or upstate New York, where they've been delivering people, are very conservative areas that they're nervous of. Same thing here in Georgia. That's why they're going to Gwinnett. That's why they're bringing them into areas that they know they need to change. But the reality of it is this is destroying people's homes, people's livelihood. They're not taking care of the American people. They're not taking care of people who are legally here, and they don't care about it. They will continue to grease their pockets, continue to make money, and continue to hurt you.
I would say that if you're bringing in the best and brightest, as we've discussed, that is welcome, that as long as you're going through the proper channels, you don't need to give them money, medical. You don't need to give them housing and food stamps because they have a skill that they can establish themselves.
Correct.
Yep.
That's not what's happening, and I think that's the big divider because
that's merit-based. They don't want merit-based people here.
We're all going to be labeled a particular thing for pointing this out, but you're not seeing the other side. It's never discussed.
When you call it a humanitarian parole program, that automatically just feels strange.
Yeah,
a humanitarian parole program. And again, these aren't the people that walked across the border. These are people that they intentionally have flown in and have then flooded your societies with, in part because they want to make sure that they turn certain red areas into a little bit more purple or to downgrade them in general.
It is
404-741. David in Kennesaw wants to talk about voting and doing it locally. David, what's up?
Well, I hope the people of this country are paying attention because now more than ever, local elections are starting to become more important than national elections because if you have city council people are voted in too. And if they're not going to go to the mat to protect their communities, vote them out and put people in that will.
That's exactly right,
100%.
David. 100%.
Thank you, David. Yeah.
But I think it is important. That's why you need these kind of people to stand up in front of these boards. He's 100% right because, when it does affect the Democrats, look what happened when they're like, hey, let's try to fly him into Martha's Vineyard. What did the Democrats who were like put up signs that said, welcome, welcome? What did they turn around and do as soon as they flew them in there and said, hey, you're going to start bringing our property values down?
Y'all got to go.
You got to go. Move them somewhere else. Move them to Texas.
They sent them to a military base. They rounded up like cattle and said, y'all got to get off our island.
And there was 50 of them.
Yeah. Start
Not
flying
20,000.
them. Fly them to Greenwich, Connecticut. See what happens. A very Democrat area. Tons of money. Very, very high housing. What's going to happen when you fly them in there? I guarantee you the Democrats will throw them out.
They need to restart that program for sure. But what David in Kennesaw brought up is so important. Local elections aren't sexy, right? They're not going to be talked about on Fox News. They're not going to be talked about on whatever news channel that you consume. So make sure you get involved. Do you know who's running in office right now?
Jeff Criswell.
Do you? Right, absolutely.
Right here.
Do you know who's running your city councils, your county commissions? Do you know who's on them right now? Do you know who's running for them coming up in November? I would do you and your family and your community a service and find out the answers to those questions. Just like David in Kennesaw has said. Thanks, David, for the call. And you're welcome to it, 404-741-1230. When we come back, Kamala has a plan for your children, and you're not a part of the plan. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
So you think the old talkmaster's a pretty good guy, huh? No, not the way I've been thinking lately. I am so proud of and in such admiration of the Israelis for their recent assaults on these Muslim goons who are dedicated to their eradication. Many years ago, perhaps even before you were born, the Israelis set up a little iPhone repair shop in the Gaza Strip. They waited until some Hamas leader came by to get his iPhone fixed. They fixed it. It worked just fine. Oh, yeah, but it had a little explosive device hidden in it. So after Mr. Hamas hotshot came by to get his phone, when he left, they called him. Hello? Boom. Now they've really upped their game. Hezbollah in Lebanon threatening to wipe Israel off the map. Oh, we got to be careful. We better not use our cell phones. Let's get a bunch of pagers. They can't track the pagers. What a brilliant act by the Israelis to intercept those pagers being shipped to Hezbollah and rigging them up so that they'll explode when the signal is sent. Teeth, hair, and eyeballs all over the place. Well, not really teeth, hair, and eyeballs, more like Big Al and the boys. But these Islamic goons thought they were in the clear when they got rid of the bad pagers. Next day, walkie-talkies, radios, simultaneously exploding. Look, Hezbollah has been launching rockets into the heart of Israel with no real understanding where they will fall or who they will kill. And then they dance around and yell Allah Akbar or some nonsense like that, rejoicing in the brilliance of their rocket launch. Then Israel sent them a huge FO message this week. I know I'm a bad guy, but I'm just enjoying the hell out of this. Nasty Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
The Atlanta Braves are celebrating the best fans in baseball with Fan Appreciation Week, September 24th through the 29th, when the New York Mets and Kansas City Royals come to town. Fans can enjoy 50% off concessions before first pitch, ticket and retail discounts, a mystery bobblehead giveaway on the 27th, free games at Hope and Will's Sandlot, and more. Tickets start at just $9, so get yours today at Braves.com/promos. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations on The Janelle King Show, where we tackle the topics that you won't hear at your family gatherings, but they're absolutely crucial for a strong republic. Don't miss us live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3. But if you can't tune in, that's okay. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. Join us for these discussions, and I can't wait to meet you there.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
This is a ball game. You can't say, that Donald Trump is just fine, but he's better for America than they are. Who doesn't know that?
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Unite for America. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Oprah Winfrey's calling her event tonight for Vice President Harris.
While we fight to move our nation forward to a brighter future, Donald Trump and his extremist allies will keep trying to pull us backward.
The vice president addressing the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, critical of the Trump plan for mass illegal immigrant deportations.
How's that going to happen? Massive raids? Massive detention camps?
The former president said in Uniondale, New York last night.
We're going to get these violent criminals behind bars. We're going to get them out of our country. We're going to take them back to the country from which they came.
It was the first big Trump rally since the second assassination attempt.
These encounters with death have not broken my will. They have really given me a much bigger and stronger mission.
He also thanked the Teamsters for not endorsing Vice President Harris. Leader Sean O'Brien tells Fox.
The Democrats have always taken for granted that they're going to get our vote no matter what.
The union did not endorse Trump either, but an internal poll of Teamsters members shows a wide majority support him over Harris. A new Fox News poll gives the vice president a 2-point lead nationally and a 12-point edge over Trump among independents. Today, the former president will meet with Jewish leaders as Israeli airstrikes hit Hezbollah in Lebanon after the militants had fired rockets.
That follows that 2-day flurry of violent espionage, pagers, walkie-talkies, and solar equipment all exploding. The total from the electronic sabotage, 37 dead, more than 3,000 injured.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. A vote to defund the government to avert an October shutdown fails as some Republicans oppose 6 months of spending and Democrats oppose a provision requiring proof of citizenship when registering to vote in national elections. House Speaker Mike Johnson tells Fox.
We'll go back to the playbook. We'll draw it up. We're already hearing good ideas from our members, and we got time to fix this, and we'll get it done.
A rally is brewing on Wall Street the day after a 0.5% interest rate cut. Dow futures are surging higher. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on Extra 106.3. It's Talk Like a Pirate Day. We've gone the whole show and we never even addressed something as important as Talk Like a Pirate Day. Gosh, have we let our listeners down?
No,
We've let everybody down.
Listeners down.
Right.
What are you doing? Talk like a pirate.
I know. I can't believe we've done this.
Well, being that Kimmer caught scurvy yesterday.
Yeah.
That's right. He's going to come back with a peg leg
God rest
and an
his
eye
soul.
patch.
I
Yes, God
I feel
rest
bad
his
for
soul.
him. Scurvy can be quite dangerous if you're missing that citrus.
Buddy, I
when you're
tell
at
you.
sea.
That's right. You don't want that to happen. It's bad news all the way around. So,
It was kind of funny, though, that we did talk about, Pete going, the Pete Davis Show. And that's what it became
that's
yesterday.
What it was. Yes, I know,
Yeah.
right? I would love to know how Pete felt about it. Is it something that he hopes Kimmer trips down a flight of stairs?
Oh, yeah.
And never comes back?
Yeah, I see the way he looks at him sometimes.
Does he want this to be a new phase in life? I mean, I don't know. I'm
There's
just
been
asking.
a few times where he has stared at the back of Kimmer and thought, how far do I plunge this knife into him?
Yeah.
How deep must it go?
I got this hatchet.
I hate, giving all behind the scenes secrets, but we do have like our email. And I did, Pete left his up the other day, and I saw emails to Hillary Clinton talking about maybe taking out the Kimmer because he said bad things about her. Yeah. So I think he's turning on him real quick.
Hey, the Clintons don't have. They won't have it. They will absolutely get you. That's been.
You go to the dentist and you come out with a bullet behind your head and you're like, yeah, you fell
What
asleep.
happened?
And
I don't know. Hillary was here
cleaned.
earlier.
I've kept it for a long time on Twitter where it's Hillary Clinton has killed you.
Yeah.
So you cannot testify against Hillary Clinton.
That's so funny.
You've been killed by Hillary. I love those.
Or the other one, the opposite, Mark Safe from Hillary.
Yeah, Mark Safe from Hillary.
Which is always good too. So good. I don't know. I feel like we let people down with the whole Talk Like a Pirate Day. Even though we brought up the fact that
I think you should now talk like a pirate. Besides R, give me a good
you were a sailor, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Man, it's been 20 years. It's been a long time since.
Come
I was
on.
I'm more of
Yo
a
ho ho.
yeah.
bottle
I'm
of
more of
rum.
I'm more of a pirate that listens to like Jimmy Buffett. I'm that type of pirate. You know what I mean? A pirate at 40.
A gay pirate?
A gay pirate.
What?
That's
what?
cool.
Jimmy Buffett wasn't a gay pirate. What are you talking about?
Why are you gay?
I'm the what?
If you're a pirate that listens to Jimmy Buffett, I hate to tell you, you might be on the wrong side of things.
Are you? What do you want me to be like?
I want you to be more hardcore.
Yeah. Like Blackbeard.
Like
not like Johnny Depp.
Like I want you to like
You
plunder.
want me to be like Johnny Depp or
No,
not?
I
Like,
don't.
okay,
That's-
because
that's a
fake.
gay pirate.
Yeah, so that's yeah.
I want you to like plunder.
Yeah, I just can't bring myself.
I want you to be
plunder.
more Viking. More like Pirates of the
Be
Caribbean.
ruthless.
All right.
Yeah.
See, I just don't know that I can bring myself to do it.
Be more like a Somalian pirate.
Right. Everything
Taking
that
over
goes
cargo
by
ships.
is yours.
Look at me. I am the captain now.
That's right.
Yes.
You tell everybody
That's a
you're the
real
captain
pirate.
now.
That's right. Yeah. Because look, that's what the United States Navy was created for.
That's right.
To
We deal with piracy.
To deal with piracy with trade routes throughout the world. So I couldn't do that. I couldn't be a pirate because I was a sailor.
Here you are with your scarf.
It's a scarf. What?
I just think about your pirate outfit.
Oh, yes.
A lot of scarves.
Yeah, no, it'd be more like a dungaree, I think. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
You know, just bell bottoms and a blue
Scarf?
shirt. A scarf. Yeah, there's no scarf. There's no scarf.
Now I got to make this an AI. It'll take a few minutes.
It's an ascot, actually.
It's not,
right,
it's
yeah.
not either.
It's not a scarf.
I'm not wearing either one
You
of
have
those.
admirals that wear dresses and they're men.
But no, we don't. No, we don't.
Yeah,
That's,
you do.
That's not an official Navy. I know that gets tied to the Navy, but that's not an official Navy post.
What about Rear Admiral Pete Buttigieg?
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know how to address that one. That was a shame.
From behind.
Yeah.
That's how you address it.
Yeah,
Okay, I had to get a
what
new
about
picture.
AI Tug?
I had to get a new picture to see what I can create here.
So,
Dear AI.
Dear AI,
Please
can you
mix
make
village people with...
make Tug look like a village people pirate? That's what we're going for here.
I just don't know about this.
Oh, gosh.
One thing I can tell you for sure is that the polling for Donald Trump is starting to look pretty good. Is it enough? No, it's not enough. But I just saw another an aggregate poll that said that Trump took the top 2 positions in the economy, handling of the economy, who would be better for that, and he was a +5, and handling of the border, a +10. Those are the numbers that you're starting to see populate in aggregate polling. But, I mean, nationally, you're seeing Donald Trump come out about 2 points ahead of Vice President Harris, and this is the best that he's ever done. It went 2016 when he won, he never got to this point. And then in 2022 when he lost, he didn't do that. He didn't have those numbers as well.
No, and you know what? Let's look at what that really means, because now add 3.1%, because that's base of the margin of error in all these polls. And we know that Democrats, and the reason they have that margin of error, because they don't go to the Republicans, or Republicans don't answer polls as much as Democrats. So I'd say he's probably up almost 6. And that would be more scary for the Democrats at this point, and which is why they continue to throw out other polls like the AJC, which is relying on Democrats to answer the phone, which they do over the Republicans, and then they pretend. The polls don't really tell us anything, and what we learned from 2016 more than anything else is Hillary Clinton, she was going to run away with it. She had more momentum than Kamala Harris, and we saw what ended up happening. So Democrats are really struggling with this. This is why they keep throwing out all of these virtue signals. They're not talking about issue. They're creating fear. They're creating this idea that Donald Trump is behind Project 2025, and they are lying about every issue because they are really scared about what their internals really tell them.
Well, the trend line is going to be very concerning for Harris and for Walz, because if the trend line continues to go this route, which is the more exposure that each of them get, the more that people look at them as being weird and being more of the same. Your New York Times Siena poll as of today has Trump winning the popular vote by 2 points. Now, that's not supposed to happen.
No. Never happened. Has that ever happened?
He's got to, in this case, if you want it competitive, he has to lose the popular vote by 8 to 10%. If he loses the popular vote by 1 or 2%, he kills her in the Electoral College.
Ooh, yeah. And that's why Nate Silver put up yesterday the new board that he had, and you're looking at it going, oh my, if he actually got 312 electoral votes, this is a landslide victory, and the popular vote as well. There are a lot of states that you know are going to be blue. New York is one of them, but then you see 60,000 people show up on Long Island to cheer him on, and a lot of those people, whether you like it or not, weren't just from Long Island. They came from all over the state, including Manhattan, that is tired of the policies Democrats continue to push in.
I'm sure they had to bus them in, though, right? I'm sure they had to bus them in from other places.
Yeah, of course. Bust in 60,000. Hey, now that's something to bring up.
And it's a suspected assassination attempt.
A campaign that has nowhere near as much money as the Democrats do. You see the amount of spending that's going on in media buys and the amount of money they're raising, and it's just not mattering. Do you really think that the Trump campaign is going to spend money on bringing people into places like the Biden and Harris campaign have done in the past?
Especially in Charlotte. When they had the rally up there at Charlotte, and they bust them in from Atlanta and Savannah.
Look at this as a microcosm. All right, when was the last time you heard a Trump ad on our radio station?
You don't.
You haven't. It's flooded by Kamala Harris ads because they have that much money, and yet not doing anything.
Well, and why would they? And this is the other, I'm glad they are. I'm glad they're spending the money with us. I don't think there's anybody that's paying attention to those ads that run on the station. And just so you know, we don't have any other choice. It is a
legally we have to
legally binding.
Yeah.
We don't exist as a station if we decide not to allow them. And here's the other thing: when politicians want to run their ads on this station, we have to give them the cheapest rate sold. So whatever the cheapest commercial that has been sold on this station, that's the price that they get. So to Lois's point, they have a ton of money. They're spending it here. I don't believe that anybody's paying attention to it, but we'll take their stupid money just so no one will listen to her.
Yeah, and we'll buy weapons with it. Guns. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but that's the reality of it. You know why she's doing it, though? Because she really, truly believes that there are Republicans that will vote. She's hoping to catch a Jeff Duncan on our airwaves. That's what they're trying to hope, is to get a fake a Republican in name only,
Rhino.
Jeff Duncan, which is really just a Democrat. That's who they're trying to get, because they feel like if they throw those ads on and create fear of Donald Trump, that's the only message they have. Because if you listen to the ads that they do put on these stations, and it's not just ours, it's all over.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But when you do hear them, there's no issues, there's no policies. It's all about creating fear. It's all about what they say the other side is about: division, fear, and everything else. And they hope that maybe Ben Burnett will be like, you know what, I am going to vote for her, even though Ben would never.
Yeah, I don't think he would either, or at least if he does, I'm going to cut his tires.
That's the way, my pirate friend.
There you go. Now he's talking like a pirate.
Now you're talking like a pirate.
I want you to realize what the Democrats want to do when they come after your children, right? There is a reality. They are absolutely coming after your children. They say that parents don't have a role in their kids' lives, essentially. When Kamala Harris says that kids belong to the community, that's when something has gone haywire. Is there one person, liberal, conservative, independent, that would say, yeah, you can... I'll take somebody else that is going to raise my kid for them or for me. I just don't know that exists, even in liberal circles. I can't imagine a parent going, yes, I want the community raising my kid. Mm-hmm. That's not reality.
Well, this is a callback to the 1960s. What happened was, in China, you had the Chinese Cultural Revolution that basically focused on young people, because they knew, we've just created famine. We've killed 50 million people. We have to get the youngest amount of people to buy back into what we're doing. And so the Democrats, the more that you expose people to economic failure, what do? You got to go after the young people. It's the same game plan as what we saw in the 60s with China.
Yeah, and the reality is, as much as the social media and all the other websites out there have pushed this as a word salad, the children of the community are the children of the community, it's not a word salad. Just like we're going to be unburdened by what has been, those are our socialist ideas. Yes, and when she talks about this, the children of the community are the children of the community, what she wants you to know is, don't go up and talk to the school board and say you want to have a right in your child's education. She's saying, don't you tell us how you should be able to raise your children. When we tell you that your child is ready to have their penis cut off or transition into this, we are going to be the community that fights the parents, takes the parents' rights away, and we know better than you do as a parent. Listen to what she's saying. I know they sound like word salads, but they're actually a call to action for a socialist idea and a communist idea.
Without a doubt, that is correct. But the way she says it, it sounds stupid. You know what I mean? And because when you listen to her talk, there's no substance, so it's easy to throw that stuff away, and poke fun at it, which is your point you're making. But I don't think most people realize that. I don't think most people hear what at least we're hearing. I think there's probably people that listen to this station that hear it. I just think by and large the American people dismiss it as foolishness. And you can't.
Or do they?
Well, yeah, I think
because I tell you what, I heard so many after seeing this. When I looked, the left was like, yes, it takes a community, it takes a village to raise children. We all need to be there for children. They bought into it.
Yeah,
they didn't think of it as a word salad. The left buys into this idea where we kind of sit back and go, that's dumb, and we throw it away. But she's energizing.
Those are all pundits making those statements, like on news channels. I'm talking about the American.
No,
people
I'm not talking about news channels. I'm talking about like social media. But you're right. The pundits are doing it too. But they know what the message is. You don't think the pundits know what's being said?
Oh, of course they do.
So they're pushing it
every
to
day.
them.
Yeah, for sure. I just think everyday Americans are so busy trying to make it, trying to survive, trying to pay the bills, that they dismiss all this stuff as craziness.
Yeah.
And it's easy too, because when you listen to her, Lowe's, she does sound crazy.
Well, this is what the polling is showing you. It's that you've been sold that we're playing this type of game, and here's what Kamala Harris is doing. And the fact is, a lot of Americans are playing a totally different game. They're not buying into it.
Yeah.
And I think it gets really easy to get caught up at times of when, like, for instance, after the debate, I think I was pretty adamant about it was a pretty crappy debate. I thought Donald Trump did very well. I thought that she spoke in platitudes, and I didn't think it worked for the American citizen. You then had pundit after pundit being like, she was so well-spoken, she was this. And what happened? Her poll numbers fell.
Yeah. She was rehearsed, and it came off as rehearsed.
Inauthentic,
just like everything else she does, including these statements, these socialist statements that sound inauthentic, because she probably doesn't know what she's talking about. She's probably been told.
Oh, yeah, they've been written out for her. You don't think she wrote that.
That's why everything's rehearsed. That's why every answer is, I'm a middle class.
Right now, they're trying to play this game that isn't working because she's inauthentic.
Yeah.
So they're, we're sitting back going like, oh man, that interview went well for her. No, it didn't, because she didn't say anything.
Right.
Regular Americans are like, please talk to me like I'm an adult.
Yeah. Listen, I've said this from the beginning when, I said Joe Biden will never be the nominee, that they will put her in place, and they don't care. They hope for a win, but if she does fail, it kind of just throws them to the side, and they restart this entire idea of reprogramming people later. But she's doing a good job energizing the people. They're learning from what they're doing. But the reality is, I think the American people are a lot smarter than what the Democrats are giving them credit for. I think people are seeing through it, at least some people. The independents, the middle, you're starting to see those numbers where people are going, hold up, I got to back off what she's saying. When she talks about price gouging, enough people looked into it, says, well, that's price control. When she says things like this, the community or the children of the community, people go, wait a minute, that means the government is trying to figure out how they can raise our children for us. Now, yeah, her base will never hear it. The pundits will continue to spin it for them. But the reality is, I think a lot of people are starting to sit back and realize, going, hey, these things that she's saying are very, very dangerous for moving forward.
I think it's less than 1% that actually get it. I don't think there's many people that see it and understand it.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, right?
Yeah, of course it is. Absolutely. Now, look, that's
what our job is to do.
Yeah, right. That small percentage that does get it. I hope they share it with other people. I hope they have the same conversation that we're having this morning in their friend groups, the people that they spend time with. Because we had a guy yesterday come to the door. And it was interesting. It made me a little bit nervous, to be honest with you, because I didn't know who he was. And he was like, hey, I'm just here to make sure you're voting. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, we've seen that you're registered to vote. We just want to make sure. We want to give you this literature. We want to make sure that you're getting out to vote. He's like, is your son home? Is he voting too? And I was like, wait a minute. What in the world is going on? It was so bizarre. And he turned out to be a nice guy after we talked through it, but just the presentation in the beginning.
Well, what was he presenting? Like, was he trying to get you Democrat?
No, it was actually they were Trump supporters.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
which I was surprised. I've not seen any Trump supporting canvases. And he was not connected to anybody's campaign whatsoever.
It's third party.
It
has been going on quite a bit.
Absolutely. But let me tell you, it freaked me out for a little bit.
Well, it should, but that's what they're going to try to do. They're, look, it's going to happen a lot more. I haven't seen, because last year or the year before when Stacey Abrams was running for governor, they were everywhere, Project Blue and all that. I haven't seen them at all either, which is kind of nice to know.
Yeah, it weirded me out that some random dude.
I don't like anybody knocking on my door.
Well, but some random dude knew my name, my home address, and whether I had registered to vote or not.
Yeah.
Dude, that's weird, man. That weirds me. Even when it's on my side, and we ended on a good note, and it was great. He was like, man, just tell as many people as you can to vote. And I was like, yes, sir, I will. It was weird.
Practice being a pirate.
Yeah. When we talked about the whole Zuckerberg and the Zuckerbucks and everything else like that, this is Elon Musk doing as third
That's exactly
party.
what he said.
Yeah.
He said this.
He's the one who's making this happen.
That's exactly right, man. It is. And because I even asked him, I think that was the last thing we said right before we left. Los, it's funny you bring that up because I was like, who's paying for this? And he was like, Elon Musk, I hear. I was like, well, right on.
Yes,
All
it
right.
is.
Yeah, good enough. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. When we come back, we'll knock out the headlines. 9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors, 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. Gallup has narrowed down the thing everyone dislikes about Kamala Harris. Next on Extra 106.3.
The left-wing media is pushing counterfeit polls and bogus headlines, all while ignoring the stories that matter most. Trust the conservative voice of Atlanta for the real truth without the media spin. The Morning Extra, Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, The Kimmer Show, Jesse Kelly, and the voices you need most are all on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months right here on Extra 106.3.
When you're leaving the house, do you plead with your garage door? Please open, please open. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. Let us take that anxiety away with one quick call. Our highly trained technicians will get to the bottom of your garage door issues. It could be a simple repair, a malfunctioning opener, or maybe just needs a tune-up. But if it's time for your garage door to be replaced, we'll make that easy too with upfront pricing and free estimates. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.com.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Madmen. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. We find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Primary school math coach positions offered by Atlanta International School in Atlanta, Georgia. Coach teachers in planning and delivery of math lessons that are consistent with PS pedagogy and curriculum outcomes. Collect and analyze data about math and make recommendations to primary school leadership. Work with grade level teams when they are planning math units, assessments, and homework to strengthen number fluency. Please send resume via email to peopleandculture@aischool.org.
Get ready for real talk on the Janelle King Show, where we tackle kitchen table topics that are banned from family gatherings, but crucial for a strong republic. Tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday for an encore episode at 9 a.m. And if you can catch us live, great. But if not, no worries. New podcasts drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park right here on Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts. Join us for insightful conversations that matter.
Hey, it's Tug from my friends, the Frost family of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about their family's company all the time here on Extra 106.3. First Liberty has helped hundreds of small businesses grow by saying yes when the big banks say no. On Wall Street, opportunities to earn big returns are everywhere. But for Main Street investors, those opportunities are hard to find. Until now. Our First Liberty notes are now open to qualified Main Street investors, paying interest rates of 8 to 13% while helping fuel the growth of small businesses right here in Georgia. With a few basic qualifications and with as little as $25,000, qualified Main Street investors just like you can earn an 8 to 13% interest rate. If this is you, they'd love to hear from you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and consider joining the First Liberty family today. That's FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Thursday, September 19th. Georgia Pacific officials say they're looking to redevelop their building on Peachtree Street that has been a part of the Atlanta skyline for years. Company officials say they want to reimagine the entire city block and renovate the building with plans to bring in restaurants, new offices, and outdoor areas. They hope to start construction next year and finish by 2027. The company has not released their funding plans. Terrorists Deshaun Woods and Brittany Hall were both found shot to death after a massive fire destroyed their home in DeKalb County. The bodies were discovered after DeKalb County firefighters extinguished the deadly blaze. An arrest has been made in Meriden, Mississippi, but the DeKalb County Police Department has not released the suspects' names or any details surrounding the case. And in sports, the Atlanta Braves stayed within 2 games of the New York Mets for their final National League wildcard spot with a 7-1 win over the Cincinnati Reds last night. Marcell Ozuna homered, and Gio Urshela drove in 3 runs in the win. The Braves and Reds will close out their 3-game series this afternoon with Chris Sale on the mound for the Braves. You can catch all that action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Tug Rhino and Los on the Morning Extra. 9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors, 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. When I read this this poll, I was trying to make heads or tails of it, and usually I can't. I struggle with math. I struggle with all the things that go into polling. I have a hard time with. So what did I do? Immediately, I sent it to front office Los, and he's narrowed it down this morning to the one specific thing that is a challenge for Kamala Harris.
Donald Trump's favorability continues to go up.
Yeah.
And hers does not.
Continues to fall. In fact, if you just want to consider like a person like Kathy Hochul, who's obviously has what she's going on in New York as a governor, her favorability is now below Donald Trump's. The more that Donald Trump is getting out on the road, and I think the assassination attempts do have a thing to play in there. The lawfare has something to play in there. But you have this person who's basically saying, I'm ready to be the dad in the room. I'm going to tell you the truth. Here's what we're going to do about it. And our better days are coming. Whereas Kamala Harris is trying to say the same things, but with no clarity and no vision.
There's no substance in it.
And so what you're seeing now in this Gallup polling is for Donald Trump to be at 46%, you say, well, that's under 50. Understand that Kamala Harris is basically mimicking what Joe Biden was in the 30s now.
Yeah.
It's wild to see. It's what I would describe it as, we are watching the impossible. That 4 years ago, we looked at Donald Trump as dead and buried, and he's now, as a favorability standpoint and an election standpoint, the odds-on favorite to be president again.
Don't use dead and buried.
Yeah, it's probably politically dead and buried.
Yeah.
Politically.
Not a good time to use dead and buried.
But Joe, by the way, and even when he is elected, we're going to have like the next giant fight on our hands because I'm fairly certain that Congress will do everything they can to not certify the election. But that's a fight for another day.
Sure.
But politically, this man was not going to ever hold office again. And favorability, he's now the person who's most liked who's running for president.
Yeah, the likability is ridiculously off the charts for him compared to Kamala Harris, and especially even with her own groups that she sits and panders to, even they don't like her. And that's why she was unable to run in 2020. That's why they removed her and made sure that, look, nobody voted for her. Nobody liked her then. She never polled well there. How she got into the position she is in today would lead you to ask, well, it's obvious that she was installed into this because they couldn't get her elected. There is no way if she were to go through, and this is why they canceled the open primary. They knew she wasn't likable. Right. They knew that she wouldn't be a favorite. They knew she couldn't even win an open primary if anybody were to stand. Gretchen Whitmer had to stand back. She would have beat her like a drum. Gavin Newsom would have beat her like a drum. There is no way people can sit and justify and say she's a likable person.
There is something to being invented rather than elected.
Yeah,
that's right.
And that's essentially what happened. And give credit to Joe Biden. He's the one who caused all this. He's the one who, when he decided to sign off on a Sunday and was like, and Kamala Harris, she's going to be the one. And everyone fell in line with the, oh, okay, well, that's what Joe wants to do. Joe did that as a giant middle finger to his party.
And it's interesting, too, because the left would tell you Donald Trump is invented. He actually addressed that on Gutfeld last night when he talks about how he was going to run for president And the folks at NBC tried to talk him out of it because they wanted him to sign a 5-year deal to continue doing The Apprentice, which was, such a successful show. And Democrats will tell you, well, he was a social media star. He was a movie star. That's the reason he was invented. And you're seeing the exact opposite of that. When he was on Gutfeld, he came off as so likable, so relatable, so funny, just a regular dude. And he's not. He's a billionaire. And he's got so many skeletons in his closet, it's not even funny. It's not the point. The point is, everybody does. You do, I do, everybody does. Point to the one without sin, and then you cast the stone.
He did talk about on Gutfeld last night. Kamala Harris can't go on that show because she'd have to think on her feet. She'd have to jump from one foot to the next. We've seen every interview opportunity, and the National Association of Black Journalists, when they were just trying to ask, and by the way, they set it up where here are softballs, here's 3 people. And she even turned that into word salad confusion. Like, she couldn't wait to get off that stage, and you think you're going to do okay on Gutfeld? No chance.
They gave her, look, every single one of those people up there were given the questions to ask her, and she still failed. Like, how ridiculous is it? And absolutely, people do not buy into her. The one thing that got me yesterday was one of the local news stations, an NBC station, fact-checked her. And I was like, oh, my God.
What is happening?
And they actually went to the $35 insulin that Donald Trump signed an executive order on the Schedule D for seniors and lowered the cost to $35, which, of course, Democrats went and overturned and made sure that would never get done so that they could use it. And then what does Joe Biden do with Donald Trump? Signs it in and takes credit for it. They brought that up, and I was like, wow, an NBC station actually doing it? Then they talked about all the other things she said that were complete lies. And I think a lot of people are starting to listen, and when they go, and they're going to sit and back her quietly. They're going to be like, yeah, she's right about Project 2025, but in the back of their head, they know their lies, and that's her base. Other people, the independents and everybody else outside, they're going, yeah, she lies way too much. She outlies everybody.
It's pretty impressive.
Everything she says a lie.
I don't know how to take her, to be honest. I mean, obviously,
for what she is.
Yeah, well, right,
a liar.
But what I mean is she just as corrupt as that I kind of think she is? Is she just a person that they've put in this position and has no business being in the position to begin with? Or is there anything in there? You know what I mean? That's the question I really have. Is there anything in there? Is it because she doesn't know what's going on? And it's like trying to take an idea. We've discussed it before. You try to take an idea and present it your own. There's nothing behind it, so you can't explain it. I feel like there's a lot of that, but I wonder if there's anything in there. If she were to sit down, does she always put up the fake defenders, the defense that she has? That maybe it's that weird cackle. That's because she's so uncomfortable. Like, Trump is able to sit down and have a talk. It doesn't matter what you're talking about, anything, whatever the subject. Can she do that in any situation?
I think if she was from Nebraska, she would never be elected.
No. Yeah, right. Because people talk about real things there.
I mean, you're from a state in which you create make-a-believe. That's part of it. And so much of her facade is make-a-believe of here's who I am, here's what I stand for. And then the more power that she accumulates, the more people will decide to vote for her because, well, hey, look what she's been able to do. When it comes right down to it, she is a very progressive, liberal, communist Democrat from San Francisco.
But even when you talk about, I was raised in a middle-class family, so was I.
So was, and was she really? I mean, listen, she went to one of the most elite schools in Canada because her family.
But I guess my point is,
tell me two professors at that level, one of them a neuroscientist doctor, that is a middle-class person rather than a upper, or
that's the
wealthy.
Point. I know some wealthy folks. I mean, like, they've done incredibly well. A family that I go to church with, dude, they got more money than anybody I've ever met in my whole life. But they can talk to me about the kids and what they're doing, what's going on with school.
They don't have things to hide.
They're engaged. Right. I guess that's it.
They probably don't have things to hide.
She can't even talk about her family and come off genuine.
Because when you lie so much, the reality of it is this. She was installed for a reason. She is a puppet. This is what the regime does. And they know the honest truth. Same thing as Joe Biden. She obviously has something to hide, and they know all about it, so they will put her in a position to do all of their bidding. She has to be very careful with what she says so she doesn't get sacked the way they did her boss, Joe Biden. They're going to do the same to her if she goes against what they say. She's nervous because she doesn't want to expose herself for what she is, a communist, a socialist, a Marxist like her father. So you have to throw out things like the children of our community are the children of our community. You have to throw out socialist ideas like, we're going to fight these corporations and price gouging. I'm going to price control. Oh, wait, I can't say price control. So in her mind, she's going, price gouging, price gouging. She has to think about the words she says because she's not good enough, like a Barack Obama, to really suck you in the way he did.
Morning Xtra, Xtra 1063. Final thought?
When you lack authenticity, which is always going to be the case, it's hard to explain yourself because you're always using somebody else's opinion,
Right. Exactly.
something that you were told to say, and yet since it's not your own, it's very hard to explain it. That's why, in my opinion, she talks in such weird word salads where she can't ever land the plane. She's constantly talking about, well, the children of this, and we be, and just working around things without ever getting to the real hardcore point of what do you intend to do if given this entire amount of power.
Because she can't. Because it's going to
tell
what first she doesn't know it, and then secondly, what she does know is we're going to become more socialist, more communist, because that's who I am. Is what I believe.
When she brought up that we're going to have a child care tax credit, and she's proposing $6,000 towards a child tax credit, and she's like, so that way you can buy a crib and you can buy. And I'm like, hold on a second, baby girl. Any parent knows that any child tax credit is not useful in the moment when you're trying to get this stuff. It's like no one buys a crib a year after they've had a kid.
This is exactly right. So dumb. It is so dumb. But again, she has no idea. Secret Service told the local police in Butler they'd take care of the building that crooks used to shoot from. So they didn't have experienced agent on ground or any experienced agents on ground. There was more Homeland Security guys there that took a webinar that didn't work. They didn't pick up on the communication devices that were provided, and they didn't take care of the building that he shot from. Yet they told the local police, Rhino, we got that.
And you want to know why we don't trust the FBI and their partisan guy down in Miami to do the investigation over the second assassination attempt? It's because we never got the truth about the first one. When we look, they actually had a drone at the second one, so they kind of did something a little bit different. Didn't help, obviously, but when we heard about all the stories in the first one, we were told one story, and then now the FBI and the Secret Service are going, oh, well, yeah, no, you're right about this, you're right about that, no, we didn't do this correct. And now what we're trying to find out, when they said, well, the locals are going to secure the top. They were supposed to secure that. They were supposed to do this. They were supposed to do that. And the locals now have everything that, including emails, including body cam footage, and all this information that the Secret Service told the locals, we got this covered. It's fine. Don't worry about the rooftop. We got it. Don't worry.
Yeah. And we see how that turned out. And like, I had read an article that basically said the Secret Service says we're going to put this huge flag in front of that building. And the flag never arrived. It was never put up. I mean,
it was supposed to come by drone?
I suppose. Probably a good idea. I mean, you're going to block any sort of... I mean, it's a logical idea, and it fits the bill of everything that's going on there. It's a very patriotic crowd. Yeah, it makes sense. Like the communications devices that the local police department tried to provide. They didn't pick that up. Again, it just goes back to willful missteps. I believe they are willful. I used to believe it was accident. I used to believe it was incompetence. Now I believe it is at the top, very willful, very deliberate.
I'm going to be very curious to see when we finally get an answer on these investigations. Because you realize we barely know much, if anything, about this shooter. Like really hardcore information, we have nothing. This feels so much like the Las Vegas shooting.
Oh yeah, with Jason Aldean on stage,
where they didn't have a motive or anything else, and you realize, okay, I'm being lied to here, and you're not going to tell me about like the biggest shooting in American history.
Yeah, Yeah, and it's interesting you bring that one up because I've still yet to see the Aldean interview with Tucker Carlson where they go into that, where they talk about that. That's one that I've flagged that I got to go back and watch because you're right, we know nothing about that. Just like we know nothing about anything else that the federal government chooses for you to know nothing about. Next on the Morning Extra, as we wrap up the show, the biggest voting bloc for Trump used to go to Democrats. That is not the case anymore. Next on Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los. Then Glenn Beck at 10. Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, the biggest show in all of conservative media, carrying the torch lit by the late, great Rush Limbaugh. And the local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, 3 until 6. Only heard here on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug. The Morning Extra has you covered from 6 to 10, and Kimmer's got you on the ride home.
Jen Psaki, holy cow, Jen Psaki's a former White House liar, now a liar for MSNBC. And they were talking and gabbling and bickering about all the things that these ladies do. And they were she was talking about how she would compare Hillary Rodham P. Sticky Fart Cabbage with Vice President Cleopatra. Cut number 1, sir.
This magical, charismatic quality in person. So do a lot of politicians. People say that about Hillary Clinton. Also true.
Holy moly. Magical, charismatic quality in person like Hillary?
If you say it enough, somebody's going to believe it, I guess. Yeah.
They just keep saying this stuff.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Electrify your senses with user-friendly technology and earth-friendlier power. Meet the all-electric 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 sedan. Satisfying for both drivers and passengers with innovations that only Mercedes-Benz can deliver. Experience the all-electric 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 sedan today. Lease one today for just $569 per month for 36 months with $67.13 due at signing. Exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models. And visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta Sandy Springs through September 30th, 2024. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Hey Atlanta, it's Mark from Atlanta Safe House. The Safe House crew hopes everyone is enjoying their vacation this summer. We know the criminals are watching and waiting for you to leave so they can bust in and steal your stuff. But hey, there is a solution. Come purchase a quality safe from Atlanta Safe House. And with summer rebates and specials, you can save hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a quality safe. And remember, don't let an illegal or crackhead deliver or move your safe. They could very well know your combination. So drop by the showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Madmen. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
When it comes to protecting your assets and ensuring peace of mind, trust the expertise of Nelson Elder Care Law. Our Absolute Protection Trust is designed to provide unparalleled asset protection. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com to discover how our specialized services can safeguard your family's future and assets, offering you the assurance you deserve. NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
There are crazies on the road. Who knows where they're all going, but if one of them hits you, don't take care of it on your own. Call my friend David Van Sant. He is the lawyer that used to work for the insurance company. The team at Van Sant Law knows who to call, what to say, and will make sure you get what you deserve and what the insurance company doesn't want to pay for. They have your best interest at heart and will take care of everything. If you don't get paid, they don't get paid. My advice, save Van Sant Law in your phone. Today, 855-GA-INJURY, vansantlaw.com.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Extra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the podcast park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Extra 106.3 is proud to be your conservative voice in Atlanta, and we offer a huge slate of original podcasts. Head over to thepodcastpark.com and grab the podcast that you love, all presented by Associated Credit Union.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra bonus hour, final segment on this Thursday, a.k.a. Friday Eve. God bless America. The weekend is within reach. It's right there in front of us, and everything is good about it. 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your Atlanta exterior solution since 1999. SouthernExteriors.co, 8779-SOUTHERN. They'll look you in the eye, shake your hand, and do exactly what they say they'll do. I've dealt with them. I encourage you to use their service as well.
They actually will do stuff for a pirate?
Yeah.
Yeah, they will.
They built him a pirate ship.
Yeah,
oh, sweet.
Yeah.
They're all kind. They do amazing stuff. Yeah. I ride it around.
They reclaimed all the wood that they were taking off to replace and made a ship out of it.
It's amazing.
I would like to think that at your house
goes around his moat.
That's right.
that you have like similar to Step Brothers, like up in a tree house, you do have like a model boat.
Yeah,
little boat that you get in every now and then.
Little kiddie pool that he just like.
And your wife has to call you down, like, Tug, it's time for dinner.
No, it's good, man. Jacob did have like a pirate ship when he was a kid. I was a Lego pirate ship. I think it was Lego.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
Probably.
But
Playmobil. That big Playmobil one was fun.
Maybe
I had that one when I was a kid.
And it's funny, y'all brought up Jack Sparrow earlier in Pirates of the Caribbean. Dude, that's one of his favorite movies of all time. And I mean all of them. He loves them all.
Hey,
I'm in the same boat.
Are you? You love them too?
Well, they all came out when we were kids, and there was like 4 of them. And pirates were all the craze, so that was my thing. I was a big pirate kid.
And you're not that far. You're, 4 years older than him, so it makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw where the Teamsters Union, for the first time since 1992, decided they're not going to endorse anyone. Interesting, the reasoning behind it, because their members are like 65 to 35. When it comes to who they're voting for and who they want to vote for, they are overwhelmingly going for Donald Trump. I have a lot of experience with unions. I grew up Northwest Georgia. It's not a lot. This is not the thing. And to see that was, I think, jarring for a lot of people, because it's almost the fact that they didn't endorse anybody is almost as jarring as the fact that they could have said Donald Trump. They chose not to. But the same effect is happening.
Yeah, obviously it is, because the entire Harris campaign flipped out as soon as it happened and then started calling all the other ones in California, New York, and other Teamsters and saying, hey, we need you to come out and endorse us. You're on our payroll. Please make sure you endorse us, even though your members won't. So now what they've done is they've tried to change that narrative by making it seem like, we're in charge of 30,000 Teamsters in New York. Yet those same Teamsters, the actual workers, are not going to vote for Kamala Harris, and they realize that it's a bad situation. Michigan, same place. They can say whatever they want about the heads of it, which is one person, compared to the 30,000. The numbers show that overwhelmingly these workers see the economy and the way that business is going to be dealt with as a better opportunity by Donald Trump than Kamala Harris.
We can go back to 2008, 2009, when we had essentially what was a bailout of the automotive industry. And it really wasn't about paying the automotive industry. It was about making sure that the unions got their money. And so that money would then find its way back into Democrat coffers. That's how that worked. And so what then occurred was that as the Obama administration really let go of working class Americans, they just said, we're going to be a patchwork group of different organizations and different groups of people that all feel that they've been victimized. They let go of the regular American worker. And so we went through this period in 2012, 2016, and 2020 where you still had these Democrats that thought to themselves, well, we'll always have these unions. It's just how it's always going to be. But the further they've moved away from regular working Americans, it took until 2024 for the Teamsters to go, en masse, yeah, we're not voting for you because you don't have our best interests at heart.
This is unusual, though, the working man being a voter for Donald Trump and being a voter for the Republican Party. If you would have gone back to, let's say, early 2000s, I remember them screaming on networks that the Republican Party was nothing but corporatism and warmongering and all that. And there was a faction of that, believe me. Dick Cheney, we know that because he's defected now to the side that actually agrees with all that stuff.
All of them have.
Where are my warmongers at? I'm there.
And I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. And that's what they all say. But it's funny to see because it's never been traditionally this way. Working folks voting for Republicans. And I think it's accented by the fact that RFK has said, I'm voting for Trump.
Oh, I think Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., a lot of people are looking and saying, hold on one second, why are these people who, I've agreed with for so long, and now they're on that side, they're the smart ones instead of the others? I think that a lot of people also realize, and we've talked about it all the time, the economy is going to play huge in this, and I think a lot of the workers realize, hold on one second, we continue to go after this. The economy is not there. We're paying higher for gas prices. We're doing this. They have moved Ford out to Mexico. Donald Trump has a good plan to bring them back by putting tariffs and saying, hey, anybody who goes outside of this country to manufacture, you're going to pay a higher tariff on your own products. Bring the jobs back to Michigan. I think a lot of the workers see that because on the opposite side, when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are running this country, Yellow Freight out of business. UPS, after dealing with them, all of a sudden 12,000 workers here in Sandy Springs laid off. Bluebird, Bus, gone. All these companies that they've gone after, Boeing at the same time, now furloughing employees. Every time that the Democrats get their hand in this, it becomes a disaster for workers.
Tax incentives work. When we were taxing our corporations at 35%, 27%, that's the reason why they were moving on to other countries. When you have the proposal from Donald Trump, then not only as a matter of tax policy, and again, this will have to go through Congress, is how it's going to be, but it's part of the current tax policy now. If you manufacture it here and you sell it here, you'll pay less in taxes. That's a benefit.
Love it.
Yeah.
Because the issue that goes on is that the American worker is the most educated worker in the world in mass in terms of everyone has a high school degree.
Yeah, it's not even close.
If you go to a foreign country, if you go to South America, that is not going to be the case. And so you're paying a premium for access to a worker who is a premium, who does have knowledge. And so you want to encourage these companies to stay here. You do so with taxes.
Yeah, and I think
straightforward. It
that
only
easy.
makes sense, man. Like, I'm not a well-educated man. I feel like I have good common sense. And what you said only makes sense.
When you see that the companies you're working for are moving everything out of your city and out of your state, and then you look and see like how California is being run, and then you see big companies that have a lot of employees moving, you realize I have an opportunity to move to Texas, which I may not want to. I may want to stay in California, but the company's moving. I'm losing my job. So even those ones that they're not reporting as, hey, these are layoffs for this reason, the layoffs are happening because technically they're not being laid off. These people are quitting because they can't keep up because Democrat cities are chasing businesses out.
And they will continue to do so. Just look at Elon Musk.
And the working person gets left behind by the Democrat Party every single time.
Every time. No doubt about it. I remember growing up and some of my family saying, we can't vote for Republicans. They don't do anything for working folks like us. And now that has completely gone away and gone the other way, as a matter of fact, because it's the Republicans who are actually looking out for you. It's a good day to be a conservative. Every day is a good day to be conservative because you use your common sense. You use what the good Lord gave you to better yourself, better your family, work hard, and succeed. That's what we talk about. And if you want to talk about it, you're always welcome at 404-741-1230 in the morning show and the afternoon show with Kimber, Pete, and Flounder at Extra 1063 across the social media platforms. We're easy to reach out to. For Rhino, Los, and Captain Goey Virgin River, my name is Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Hey, it's Flounder, and the Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
Why do the Republicans let the liberals do it? ABC, CNN, NBC do it. Candy Crowley, which is what they did last night, and basically let her skate. He didn't have a great performance. Let's put it on him, too.
He screwed up.